How's it going, folks? Welcome to a very special at-home table read. Tonight, we're doing an original piece. I've kind of been on a roll with weird Muppet parodies, so tonight I figured we would try another. The only movie that could be remade with Muppets alone, and that is the Muppets Princess Bride. I can't wait to see how this one's going to go. So let's start introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Carina, and I'll be doing action description.
I am Curtis. I'll be playing the role of Kermit the Frog.
I'm Bridget, and I'll be playing Miss Piggy.
I'm Anne, and I will be Fozzie.
I'm Logan. I'm going to be Gonzo.
I'm Chelsea, and I will be Sweetums.
I'm Erik. I will be Pepe, okay?
I'm George, and I'll be Sam Eagle.
I'm Lynne. I'm voicing the grandfather.
I'm Angi, and I'm Robin Frog.
I'm Mary, and I'll be Rowlf.
Hi, I'm me. I'm just kidding. My name's Jennifer, and I'm Beaker.
Hello, I'm Travis, and I'll be playing Honeydew.
Oh, weird. Anyway, on that note, well, Carina, take us away.
Muppets present The Princess Bride, written by Logan Horberg, based on The Princess Bride by William Goldberg and The Muppets by Jim Henson. Exterior, a city street. It's a New York Christmas, snow everywhere. At the end of the street sits a quiet, typical brownstone. Video game sounds echoes slightly out of one of the upstairs window. A sick coughing sound cuts through the video game noise. Interior brownstone. Robin Frog sits lying in a bed, coughing. Hail for a frog. Quite sick. He pauses the game, and another coughing fit hits. He unpauses and resumes playing Muppets Monster Adventure. Robin's mother, also a frog, enters the room. She pauses his game and takes the controller from him. She fluffs his pillows and feels his forehead. She's worried and not hiding her face squunched well.
Guess what? Your grandfather's here.
Can't you just tell him I'm sick?
You are sick.
Then tell him I've got a frog in my throat.
He's here because you're sick.
But he'll probably pinch my cheek. I hate that.
Maybe he won't.
And he's gonna do the claw.
You don't know that.
Dollar says he will.
No deal.
Robin shoots her a look, which says, because you know I'm right. And here, Robin's room. Robin's grandfather bursts into the room. He looks a little rumpled, strokes his short beard, and looks at Robin with bright, youthful eyes. He's got a book tucked under one arm as he immediately goes to Robin.
Hey, kiddo. Oh no. What's this?
He holds up a finger like a lame Captain Hook claw.
It's the claw. Oh no, what's this? The claw. You're scared of the claw.
I was when I was 4.
Robin gives his mother an I told you so look. His mother ignores him and leaves him alone.
I'll just leave you two pals alone.
Tough crowd. How's the sickie?
Robin doesn't answer. There's a long and comfortable silence. Then,
I brought you a special present.
What is it?
It's the guidance system from an F-18.
What?
What?
The grandfather holds a present from under his arm. Robin tears open the paper to reveal a book. Robin does his best to fake a smile, which is easier said than done.
A book.
That's right. When I was your age, Netflix was called books.
When you were my age, the internet hadn't even been invented yet.
You're not wrong. Let's see. This is a very special book. It's the one my father used to read to me when I was sick, and I used to read it to your father too.
Does it have any sports in it?
Grandfather suddenly passionate.
Of course. Basketball, a little bit of football, or do you mean soccer?
Really?
No, this doesn't suck.
Robin shakes his head. Say what?
This book has fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, miracles. Real start of a franchise type story.
Her grandfather pulls up a chair to sit by the side of the bed.
Doesn't sound too bad. I guess I can try to stay awake.
It's either that or I read you the novelization of Quest for Camelot.
Oh, please no.
That's what I thought.
The grandfather clears his throat.
The Princess Bride, Chapter 1. Butterpig was raised on a small farm in the country of Porkin.
Exterior English countryside. The lush green countryside.
Her favorite pastimes were modeling fashion, riding her horse, and tormenting the farm frog who worked there. His name was Wesley, but she never called him that. Isn't that a wonderful beginning?
Sounds like an abusive relationship.
In a manner of speaking. Nothing gave Butterpig as much pleasure as ordering Wesley around. Farm frog, you lazy thing, polish my horse's saddle.
Exterior Butterpig's farm day. Miss Piggy, known here as Butterpig, holds the reins of her horse, while Kermit, known here as Wesley, stands in the stable doorway. He simply looks at her, his face smeared with dirt. Miss Piggy stands there, expertly dressed. Every piece she wears is bedazzled and expertly monogrammed with her name and likeness. She's not the most beautiful woman in the world, but certainly the most beautiful pig.
I want to see my face shining in it by morning. I want it completely encrusted with rhinestones, with the newest sound system so I can feel the bass.
As you wish.
Kermit looks at Piggy with an obvious smolder.
As you wish was all he ever said to her.
Piggy turns to walk away.
A blazer would be nice.
Miss Piggy whips around and faces him.
What was that?
Kermit simply shrugs.
That's what I thought. Get to it.
As you wish.
Piggy in her horse stall. Her tone is softer here than when she gave her previous order.
Farm frog, I want you to varnish my little horsey's hooves. Please.
As you wish.
She leaves the stable. His eye stays on her. She stops, turns, and he manages to look away before she catches him looking. After a beat, she looks away and his eyes move back to her. She glances back quickly, trying to catch him, but he once again averts his gaze. Miss Piggy and Kermit in the kitchen desk. When she speaks now, she's clearly flirting. She points to a bowl on the shelf that she can clearly reach herself.
Farm frog, fetch me that bowl.
Kermit looks from her to the bowl, then back to her.
That heavy one, way up high.
She points to the one right in front of him. He picks it up and hands it to her, gazing into her eyes.
As you wish.
He turns and leaves. Kermit walks away from the farmhouse and Miss Piggy stares after him.
That day, he was amazed to discover that when he was saying, as you wish, what he really meant was, I love you. And even more amazing was that night when she realized she loved him back.
That night, Miss Piggy wakes up and sits up in the bed.
Oh, crap.
Kermit and Miss Piggy outside her tiny swamp hovel in the moonlight. They move towards each other and about to kiss.
Hold it, hold it.
Interior Robin's room.
I'm not old enough for these kind of books.
What kind of books?
Dirty ones. My teacher always told me kissing leads to babies.
Wait, no, wait.
So it's not that kind of book?
No.
Okay. So when does the story get interesting?
Will you let me read? Wesley had no money for marriage, so he packed his few belongings and left the farm to seek his fortune across the seas.
Exterior Brother Pig's farm. Kermit and Miss Piggy stand a few feet apart at the gate of the farm.
It was a very emotional time for Butter Pig.
Miss Piggy wants to Kermit, jumping into his arms and tackling him to the ground.
I don't believe this.
Oh, Wesley, I fear I'll never see you again.
Of course he will.
Will you be safe out there on the high seas?
It's not like I haven't sailed before.
Not in this movie. What if something happens to you?
Hear this now. I will always come for you.
That sounds like a threat.
I was trying to be romantic.
Are you sure you'll come back?
This is true love. You think it happens every day? Plus, the movie's only just started.
He smiles at her. She throws her arms around him. She squeezes him so tight, his eyes bulge. She finally releases him, and Kermit can breathe again. Then Kermit walks away. Miss Piggy watches him go.
Wesley didn't reach his destination.
Interior Robin's room.
His ship was attacked by the dread pirate Henson, who never left captives alive. When Butterpig got the news that Wesley was murdered.
Ooh, murdered by pirates is good.
Grandfather looks at Robin, a little concerned.
You're a little psycho, aren't you?
Robin looks a little dejected.
Anyway, she went into her room and shut the door. And for days, she neither slept nor ate.
Interior Butterpig's room. Miss Piggy stares out the window, sobbing dramatically.
I will never love again.
She rails, her face clenching to squeeze out every last tear. Exterior Porkin years later. The main courtyard of Porkin, filled with townspeople, livestock, and bustling marketplace.
5 years later, the main square of Porkin City was filled as never before to hear the announcement of the great Prince Humperdinck's bride-to-be.
Prince Humperdinck, Pepe to us, a prawn of incredible power and bearing, stands in his royal robes on a castle balcony. 3 others stand behind him, an old couple with crowns, the aging king and queen, played by
Spam.
Thank you. And Hilda. And a blue feathered eagle who seems the pirate's match in strength. This is Sam Eagle, known here as Count Boogan.
My people, calm down, okay? A month from now, our country will have its 500th anniversary, even though we don't look a day over 30. On that sundown, I shall marry a beautiful lady who was once a commoner like you, okay? But perhaps you will not find her common now. Would you like to see the woman who has stolen the heart of this soon-to-be King Prawn?
And answering yes, booms the summer thunder. This crowd is massive. On my balcony, Waldorf and Statler look on.
Can you see him over the balcony? Statler!
Not even a little bit.
Good! I was worried I was missing something good!
Unlikely in this movie.
Oh!
A giant staircase leading to the crowd as a figure just begins to become visible. The crowd sees the figure, and if they collectively hold their breath, the staircase, as the figure appears, is Miss Piggy. She's glammed to the nines.
My people, okay? The Princess Butterpig, okay?
She descends the stairs and starts to move against the people.
Move aside. Watch the dress.
The balcony, the king steps up.
Oh, this is a lovely village. Oh, we got a minor, nice lady who my kingly finds some day, but she's not gonna be down there and they may take her candies.
Humperdinck leans back to Sam.
Oh, okay. Rugen, did you catch any of that? Because I got nothing, okay?
Not a single syllable, sir.
It doesn't seem possible, but Daddy's mumblings are getting worse every day.
Your father just said how excited he is to find you a nice lady, but it isn't safe for her to move among the people. One of them might steal her sucking candies. It's all right. She's so gentle. Who would want to harm her?
I tell you this, no man had better try, okay? She's my lady. Mine.
The crowd then does a very strange thing. With no instruction at all, they suddenly go to their knees. Great waves of people kneeling. Miss Piggy is terribly moved. She stands among her subjects, blinking in disbelief.
It's about time I had a public acknowledge me for the beauty I am.
Yeah, either that or they love the smell of bacon!
Who doesn't?
Ah, my doctor!
Ah, pipe down.
Exterior castle grounds. Butterpig walks towards the stables. She leads her horse towards Prince Humperdinck. They then start the stable door.
Must you ride? I know the ladies and you seem quite upset, okay?
The king looks so old today. I suppose it just upset me.
Well, of course he looks old, my love. He was like 97 last I checked, and his body was betrayed him like a 45-year-old in the NBA. And my father said that's not what it's upsetting you. Have I been neglecting you? Is that it? I know you don't love me like I love you, okay? But you'll grow to love me.
She shakes her head and mounts her horse, less than expertly.
It's not you. It was the crowd. I wasn't expecting them to bow to me. When you proposed, I was just like them, ordinary, with a high sense of fashion and a loving fan base. And even though I've always felt like royalty in my heart, I'm still ordinary. It was just so overwhelming today. It's the first time I've actually felt like a real queen.
My beloved, you're the most beautiful pig in the world. And when we marry, you'll be the richest and most powerful in all the land.
He reaches up, but can't reach her since she's on her horse.
Just a moment.
Pepe pushes up a small set of stairs to get up to her saddle and tries to kiss her. She pushes him away, and he topples off the stairs. Pepe pops up and continues like nothing happened.
Don't expect too much from life, okay?
You're very wise. I must learn to be satisfied with what I have.
She sighs, resigning herself to her lot in her life as she rides off. Exterior of the woods. Miss Piggy rides through the woodlands, barely controlling her horse. She comes up to a wood glen. It's lovely, quiet, and deserted. Miss Piggy pulls the reins and the horse stops quickly, launching her off front. As she works through her feet, she looks up and sees three figures standing side by side in her path. Fozzie, known here as Fozzini, Sweetums, known here as Fezzik, and Gonzo, here as Antigua Gonzo.
Who are you freaks?
Good day. Might we have a word? We are poor circus performers working on a solo career. Is there a village nearby?
There's nothing nearby, not for miles.
Oh, good. That's great. Good news for us.
Why?
Because it means no one will hear you scream.
Fozzie nods to Sweetum, who reaches over and pinches her neck.
Wait, what are you talking?
Miss Piggy passes out, falling square on her face. Fozzie hangs his head.
What did I say? We're gonna kidnap the pig and be rich? Yes, but also catch her so she doesn't fall on her face. All right.
A tiny isolated spot at the edge of the porking channel. A sailboat is moored. It's dusk now. Shadows are long. Gonzo busies himself getting the boat ready, becoming more and more wrapped in ropes. Sweetum carries Miss Piggy, unconscious, on board. Miss Piggy mumbles to herself. Fozzie whips some tiny pieces of fabric from a Muppets Show crew jacket and tucks them into the saddle of Miss Piggy's horse. Even though they call themselves professionals, they certainly don't come across that way.
Hey, that's my favorite jacket. Why are you ripping it up?
Flee a false trail. Don't you remember? You got it from that shop in Gilder. Where's Gilder? The country across the sea. The sworn enemy of porking.
Fozzie finishes tucking the bits of fabric and slaps the horse's rump. The horse quickly kicks, sending Fozzie flying. Fozzie sits up.
Good horse, go.
Sweden walks up, and the horse casually pats his rump. Oh, the horse takes off. Fozzie dusts himself off.
Once the horse reaches the castle, the prince will find the fabric, suspect the folks from Gilder have abducted his love. Then, when he finds her remains of their when he finds her remains on their frontier, his suspicions will be confirmed.
Fozzie looks at the camera.
Pretty dark, huh?
You never say anything about killing anyone.
Sure I did.
Fozzie pulls out a help ad from his pocket and flashes it to Sweetums.
Seeking minions to aid in a prestigious line of work with a long and glorious tradition. Must be willing to take orders, fight pirates, and be comfortable with starting a war.
Nowhere in there does it say anything about killing.
Right here.
Fozzie points to a tiny line of text at the bottom of the form. Must be okay with killing.
Well, there it is. I just don't think it's right killing an innocent girl or pig. Something.
Am I going mad or did you just say think? What did the ad say?
Must be comfortable with starting a war.
No!
Fozzie points to another line on fine print. Not thinking preferred.
I didn't hire you for your brains.
Sweetum steps towards Fozzie, imposing.
You big, beautiful creature.
I agree with Fezzik.
Oh, the whatever speaks. What happens to her is not truly your concern. We're going to kill it. Never forget this.
Fozzie advances on Gonzo and Sweetums, who covers a little as he draws closer.
When I found you, you couldn't pay someone to shoot you out of a cannon. The chickens wouldn't even buy you a drink.
Well, of course not. I buy them drinks. Why would they buy me one?
And you were running cross country with nothing to show for it.
I was this close to a Wheaties sponsorship.
Who eats Wheaties?
Champions.
Sweetum nods.
You were unemployed.
I think it's wonderful, Vizzini, while we're doing war and dance. It's just great.
Fozzie glares at him, then turns, leaving them. Fozzie opens his knapsack, pulls out a rubber chicken, a napkin which he tucks into his collar like a bib, and a slice of cheese. During this, Gonzo saunters up to Sweetums, who is clearly upset at the insults that were just hurled their way.
That Fazzini, he can fuss.
Fuss. I think he just enjoys yelling at us.
I certainly think he means no harm.
But he's really very light on charm.
Hey, good rhyme.
I like to try, otherwise I cry.
Some are better than others.
We sail off. The sea. The sailboat races across the dark waters. Gonzo is at the helm. Sweetum stands near the still unconscious body of Miss Piggy, whose eyelids flutter slightly, or do they? Fozzie nibbles away at his cheese, offering bites to his chicken. The waves are higher, and there are only occasional flashes of the moon slanting down between the clouds.
We should reach the cliffs by dawn.
Gonzo nods, glassy back.
What is that?
What
was that?
What was what?
I'm looking back. Why do you keep doing that?
I'm making sure we're not followed.
Believe me, that would be inconceivable.
Fozzie knows Miss Piggy waking up.
Can you deal with the luggage?
Sweetum moves to a small overhead storage bin and closes it, since the door popped open.
Done.
Make sure she's sleeping.
All right.
Sweetum pinches Miss Piggy's neck again, and her eyes stop fluttering. The ship sails along the waves. Clouds fill the sky, and the sea is still. Gonzo keeps sneaking a peek behind him.
Will you stop that? You're stressing me out.
You're sure no one could be after us?
As I told you hours ago, it would be absolutely, totally, and in all other ways, inconceivable.
If he says that one more time, I think we got a catchphrase.
No one in Gilder knows what we've done, and no one in Portland have gotten here so fast, unless they had some kind of crazy pirate ship or something.
The Pirates of the Caribbean theme can be heard faintly in the background.
Out of curiosity, why do you ask?
Oh, no reason. It's only that I just happened to look behind us and, well, something's there.
The three whirl around and stare back. As they do, they see the darkness behind them, and there is nothing to be seen, but it's still ominous. Only now it's eerie, too. Then the moon slips through the clouds, and an eagle was white. Something is very much there. A sailboat, black, with a great billowing sail, black. It's a good distance behind them, but it's coming fast as hell, closing the gap. Gonzo, Fozzie, and Sweetum stare at the other boat.
Probably some local fishermen out for a pleasure cruise at night through eel-infested waters. Or a Jack Sparrow cosplayer.
The splash behind them causes them to turn, seeing Miss Piggy diving into the water, starting to swim away. They all freak out.
Ah! Ah! Oh no! Going! Get after her!
I don't swim.
Fozzie looks at Sweetum.
On the doggy paddle.
Fools! Veer left!
The moon slips behind the clouds again, and the night goes dark. Miss Piggy, still close to the boat, swims as quietly as she can, which isn't quiet at all. As the wind dies, she stops, hearing a faint, high-pitched shrieking sound. Thread waters, listening.
Do you know what that sound is, Highness? Those are the shrieking eels. Scary stuff. Pushing the boundaries of our PG rating, to be sure. If you doubt me, just wait. They always grow louder when they're about to feed on pork chops.
Miss Piggy, treading water, still not too far from the boat. The shrieking sounds are getting louder. More terrifying, they sound like a farmer making pig calls. Miss Piggy whimpers silently.
If you swim back now and apologize to my crew and Mr. Bimbo, I promise no harm will come to you. Mr. Bimbo assures me you will get no such offer from the eels.
Miss Piggy steadies herself. She's one gutsy pig. The shrieking gets louder and louder, but she doesn't make a sound. She is shaking a little more intensely, though. Something dark and gigantic slithers past her. Fozzie shouts out again.
I warn you again, call out your position or die.
Miss Piggy, still in the water, is petrified. Who wouldn't be? But still, she makes no reply. The shrieking eels have zeroed in on her. She sees it now. The eel is circling her. Miss Piggy is frozen, trying her best not to move. The eel slips up from the water, opening its jaws wide. The pig calls its throat, louder than before. Just as the jaws are about to clamp down.
She does not get eaten by the eel at this time.
Interior Robin's room. Robin looks a little scared, gripping the sheets tightly, but in an instant, he drops the sheets and looks angry.
What?
I said the eels don't get her. You looked nervous.
I was. That's why it's called dramatic tension.
His grandfather says nothing, just waits.
I mean, I was scared, but that means I was just into the story, and you just killed all the tension, all that fear, just ruined, just like that.
Perhaps I should stop for now.
You can read a little more if you want to. I mean, the stress is gone, but...
Exterior the boat. Fozzie stands on the boat.
Do you know what that sound is, Highness? Those are shrieking eels.
You already read that part.
Oh, my mistake. Forgive me.
The world is stuff. Fast forwards as the grandfather flips through the pages to find his spot. Eventually, we end up back at Miss Piggy about to be eaten by the eel. Its jaws are wide, about to clamp down. Before the eel can bite down, two giant arms reach down, grabbing Miss Piggy and hoisting her up out of the water in one hand and grabbing the eel in the other. Back on the boat, Miss Piggy is plopped down onto the deck. Sweden grabs the jaws of the eel and whips it in half lengthwise.
Wow! That was brutal!
I just watched Suicide Squad.
Oh,
He tosses the halves back in the water. Fozzie turns to face Piggy.
Suppose you think you're brave, don't you?
Compared to the likes of you, you stinking degenerate.
Rude! Now apologize.
Miss Piggy glares.
I'm not going further until you say you're sorry.
Miss Piggy sighs.
I'm sorry I tried to escape you kidnapping me.
Fozzie clears
And
the
to Mr. Bimbo.
Fozzie holds up his finger and holds it in front of her. Miss Piggy rolls her eyes and looks at Fozzie's finger.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bimbo.
Gonzo looks behind them and points.
look, he's cut our lead in half.
Like the eel.
The fog and black, his boat seems to be flying across the water. Fozzie laughs and cries out in triumph.
It doesn't matter. He's too late. See? The cliffs of insanity.
And once he said the name, the Cliffs of Insanity at dawn. Next to it sits a sign reading, "Welcome to the Cliffs of Insanity." Ah! The cliffs rise straight up, sheer from the water, impossibly high. The two sailboats are in wild race for the cliffs, and the frog in black is coasting faster than ever. But not fast enough. The lead was too great to overcome, and Gonzo sails with great precision towards the cliffs.
We're safe. Only Fezzik is strong enough to go up our way. He'll have to sail around for hours just to find a harbor.
Miss Piggy stares to the cliffs come closer. Sweetums spin a large rope in his hands.
Ready, boss.
Fozzie is strapping himself into the harness, then hooks Miss Piggy. Fozzie loops the harness around Gonzo, and they walk it towards the cliffs.
Whenever you're ready.
Everybody ready?
If you please.
I'll climb with ease.
Man, you're good at that.
The ship slams to the side of the cliffs, and they launch in the air towards the walk face. Sweetums grabs the walk wall as the remainder of the crew, along with Miss Piggy, hang beneath him. Sweetums begins climbing as the walks dangle.
I hate those stupid rhymes of yours, you know.
Who hurt you? Who?
The frog in black sails towards the cliffs, watching as Sweetum rise through the first moments of dawn. Sweetum climbs as Miss Piggy just screams with fear. Terrified out of her mind, the frog in black boat comes to the base of the cliffs. He hops up to the dangling rope and starts to climb. He's impossibly far behind, but the way he goes, you'd think he didn't know that because he's flying up the ropes, hand over hand like lightning. Fozzie looks down.
He's gaining on us.
It's Captain Obvious. Inconceivable.
And now it's a catchphrase.
Fozzie prods Sweetum.
Go faster.
Sure.
Sweetum increases his pace. The frog in black rears up the rope. He's cutting deeply into Fozzie's lead.
Faster!
I'm sorry, I thought I was going faster.
The frog in black, his arms still work as before. Oddly, he seems to be speeding up. Their lead is growing smaller and smaller. Fozzie and the others look back down.
I thought you were supposed to be a beast. You're supposed to be legendary in your feats, yet he gains.
No. My feet are legendary. They're quite big. Besides that, I'm carrying 3 of you. He's got only himself.
No excuses, only solutions. And right now, my solution seems to be finding a new giant.
Don't say that, Vizzini, please.
Sweetum slows slightly, straining under the weight. The frog in black is less than 100 feet below them and gaining. His black mask obscures his identity.
You shouldn't insult Fezzik.
That's what I get for hiring an emotional strongman.
Fezzik is a good worker.
True. I'm a worker, not a shirker.
Very hardy.
Never tardy.
Oy vey.
That didn't rhyme.
Fozzie sighs frustrated. Sweetum, now feeling less hurt, moves faster and faster up the cliff's face. The top of the cliffs are very close. He's picking up speed until finally, at long, long last, Sweden reaches the top of the cliffs. Fozzie leaps off takes out a knife, beginning to cut the rope the frog in black is climbing. Gonzo helps Miss Piggy to her feet as Sweden stands around, waiting for someone to tell him what to do. Exterior, Cliffs of Insanity, ruins. The group stands amongst the ruins of the cliffs, which at one point might have been a great fort. To the frog in black, 75 feet from the top, maybe less. He cuts the distances to about 50 feet. Cut back to Fozzie is still cutting away at the rope. He managed to get through the last bit of it, and it flies off the cliff, top towards the water below. Fozzie peeks over the side, followed by Gonzo and Sweden after a beat.
He has very good arms.
The frog in black is hanging off the wall, holding on to the jagged rocks, desperately clinging for his life. Fozzie looks stunned.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable!
Gonzo looks at Fozzie for a beat.
You keep using that catchphrase. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Fozzie thinks for a moment.
Doesn't it mean shocking?
Nope.
Breathtaking?
Nuh-uh.
Jumping the shark?
Not even close.
Oh, man!
Oh, look, he's climbing.
Frog in black is still climbing, very slowly. But little by little, he's making his way up the cliff. The group continues staring down, Miss Piggy joining them now.
Whoever he is, he's obviously seen us with the princess and therefore must die.
Fozzie turns to Sweden.
I need you to carry her.
He then turns to Gonzo.
We'll head straight up for the Gelder frontier. Catch up when he's dead.
Gonzo nods and salutes.
You got it, dude!
Fozzie sighs.
And don't call me dude.
Alrighty then.
Fozzie sighs again.
If he falls, fine. If not, the sword.
Oh, I think I'll duel him left-handed.
But you know the hurry we're in.
That's the only way I can get my satisfaction. See, if I use my right, it's over too quickly.
I don't want to know which hand you're using to get satisfaction. This is a kid's movie.
I'm talking about my sword.
I don't care what you call it.
Gonzo draws his sword and shows it to Fozzie.
Oh, that sword.
Yeah, what sword did you think I was talking about?
I can't tell you and keep this a movie for kids.
Fair point.
You're a bunch of idiots.
Very true, but we're idiots who are holding you hostage.
Fozzie snaps his finger and Sweden tosses Miss Piggy over his shoulder. Sweden takes one last look over the side of the cliff.
Careful. People in Max can't be trusted.
Hurry up!
Sweden nods and hurries after Fozzie. Gonzo watches them leave, then peers down over the cliffs. Frog in back is still making his perilous slow way towards the top of the cliffs. If he stays at this pace, it'll be hours. Gonzo watches him for a beat more, then paces and snaps his fingers, full of nervous energy.
I've never been one for waiting. I've got ADHD.
The frog in black is still making his way up the cliff, having only moved 6 inches. Gonzo walks away and slings his sword. He starts snapping his fingers in a wild Spanish rhythm. He keeps snapping until he hits the end of his tune.
Hey, Macarena!
Gonzo breathes deeply, feeling ready now. He looks over the cliffside and starts to talk. If the frog in black falls, it's certain death, but neither gives the possibility much credence. This is our 2 heroes meeting. They don't know it yet, but that's what it is.
Hoi, hoi!
The frog in black glances up, sort of guts.
Slow going.
I don't mean to be rude, but this is not as easy as it looks, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't distract me.
Oh, sorry.
The frog in black kind of grunts again.
I don't suppose you could speed things up?
The frog in black just stares at him a beat.
Nope.
All right.
If you're so anxious to hurry things, you could lower a rope or a tree branch or find something useful to do.
I mean, I could do that. I've got some rope up here, but I don't think you'd accept my help since I'm just waiting around to kill you.
Yeah, I suppose it does put a damper on our relationship.
He inches a little further up the cliff.
What if I promise not to kill you until you reach the top?
I mean, that's a comforting sentiment, but you'll just have to wait.
I hate waiting. I can give you my word as a whatever.
Oh, good. I have done too many whatevers over the years.
And the frog just hangs there a beat, gathering strength.
And there's no way you'll trust me.
None that comes to mind.
Gonzo raises his white hand high, his eyes ablaze, and his voice takes on a serious tone.
I swear on the soul of my father, Dave Goals, you will reach the top.
The frog in black looks at him for a beat. Then,
throw me the rope.
Gonzo smiles and dashes over a giant tree, trying to coil a rope to it, and hurries back to the edge, tossing it over the side. The rope hangs close to the frog in black. He releases the rock, grabs the rope, and hangs helplessly in the space a moment. Gonzo starts grunting backwards, pulling the frog in black up the cliffside. The frog in black rises through the early morning light, reaches to the top of the cliff. Gonzo watches as the frog in black crawls up to safety, then sprawls exhausted on the rough, rocky ground. The frog in black pants, his chest heaving up and down. Gonzo walks over and sits on a stone next to him.
Thank you.
We'll wait till you're ready.
Again, thank you.
Gonzo stares at the frog in black's gloved hand.
I don't mean to pry, but you don't by any chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand and blue feathers?
The frog in black stares at him. The question clearly baffles him.
I'm a frog, not blue.
Oh, right.
Do you always begin conversations that way?
Well, my creator was slaughtered by a blue-feathered fiend with 6 fingers on his right hand. See, my creator was a great sword maker, and then this fiend requested a special sword. My creator took the job. He slaved a year before it was done.
Gonzo hands his sword to the frog in black. The frog fondles the sword.
I've never seen its equal.
Even now, the story causes Gonzo pain.
The 6-fingered bird returned and demanded it at 1/10 the promised price. Something about a free market economy? I don't know. My father refused. Without a word, the 6-fingered fiend slashed him through the heart. And I love Dave so much. So naturally, I found this monster and challenged him to a duel. But I failed. The 6-fingered creature left me alive, but he gave me this.
Gonzo opened up his shirt to show the frog in black his undershirt. It reads, I'm a losing loser who lost. The frog in black looks up at Gonzo.
How old were you?
Almost 11. And when I was strong enough, I dedicated my life to the study of fencing. But after painting my 3rd fence, I changed to dedicate my life to sword fighting. So the next time we meet, I will not fail. I'll just go up to the 6-fingered bird and say, hello, my name is Inigo Montgonzo. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
That's a powerful statement.
Right, I've got shirts made.
Gonzo pulls up his loser shirt to reveal a traditional Inigo Montoya shirt, merch from the original movie, complete with Mandy Paxton.
Nice shirt. So you've done nothing but study swordplay?
Well, that and stupid pet tricks. That's more pursuit than study lately. See, I can't find him. It's been 20 years now, and I'm starting to lose my confidence. I just work for Fozzie to pay the bills. There's not a lot of money in revenge.
The frog in black hands the sword back and starts to rise.
I'll hope you find him someday.
Gonzo helps the frog to his feet.
You're ready then?
Whether I am or not, you've been more than fair.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you.
Frog in black completes his sword.
You seem a decent fellow. I hate to die.
Would you settle for a good maiming?
Let's see.
Begin!
And on that word, the greatest Muppet sword battle in movie history begins, and right from the beginning, it looks different. The swords aren't in the standard guard positions. Every time one makes even the slightest move, the others move to the counter or parry immediately. They circle each other in silence. The frog in black eyes are still hidden from behind the mask, but shining bright. The six-fingered sword, feigning here and feigning there. The frog in black, almost off balance, but he gains it quickly, and right as he does, Gonzo bounds forward, striking. The frog in black leaps to the side, dodging. Their swords cross now, vicious and yet expert.
You're using the Jack Sparrow defense against me.
That's unfitting, considering the rocky terrain.
Naturally, you must expect me to attack with Zorro! Ah!
Gonzo shifts his style to one now more flourish.
Naturally. But I find that Beatrix Kiddo cancels out Zorro, don't you?
Frog in black retreats before Gonzo, but handles Gonzo's onslaught without overpowering difficulty, and then suddenly his entire style changes and the frog is doing the advancing. Gonzo is retreating badly, but more thrilled than ever.
Unless the enemy has studied his Errol Flynn, which I have!
Gonzo changes styles once again. The two Muppets are practically flying across the rocky terrain, never losing balance, never coming close to stumbling, and the battle wages with incredible finesse. First one, then the other, gaining the advantage. But now, it's clear that this isn't just two athletic Muppets dueling, it's more than that. It's two legendary swashbucklers, and they're in their prime. Then suddenly, the real action begins, going even faster than before. Gonzo's behind the frog in black, drawing closer all the time to the deadly edge of the cliffs of insanity. Gonzo fights and ducks and feigns and slashes, and it all works, but not for long, as gradually the frog in black keeps the advantage, keep forcing Gonzo back closer and closer to death.
You are wonderful!
Thank you. I have worked hard to become so.
The cliff's edge is very close now. Gonzo is continually being forced towards it.
I admit it. You're better than I am.
Then why are you smiling? Are you a masochist?
Interest from depth, Gonzo is, in fact, all smiles.
Because I know something you don't know.
And what is that?
I'm not left-handed.
Gonzo throws a sword into the air, catches it in his right, and immediately the tide of the battle turns. The frog in black, stunned, doing everything he can to keep Gonzo by the cliff's edge, but it's no use. Slowly at first, he begins to retreat, now faster. Gonzo's in control, and the frog in black is desperate. Gonzo, fighting with joy, the six-fingered sword is all invincible now. As he increases his attack, then switches styles again.
The Skywalker Gambit!
Gonzo leaps in, nicks the frog in black's shoulder, first felt in his. The frog in black looks at his wound, but keeps fighting. The frog in black is forced towards the giant tree the climbing rope was secured to. Gonzo whirls around the tree, striking again, this time at the wrist of the frog in black, drawing another small nick of felt. The frog in black, almost running from the tree, getting into the clear as Gonzo relentlessly increases the pressure. The cliff's edge draws close again. The frog in black can't stop Gonzo. Nothing can stop Gonzo, and in a frenzy, the frog in black makes every feint, tries every thrust. Let's go all with he has left. But he fails. Everything fails. He is almost to the cliff's edge when he glances back, sees his near fatal position, and tries one or two final desperate moves. They are nothing.
You are amazing.
I ought to be after 15 years.
There's one final thing I must tell you.
Please tell me.
I'm not left-handed either.
The frog in black now changes hands, and at long last, the battle is in full swing. To Gonzo's amazement, he is being forced back. He tries another style.
Yojimbo!
Sundru!
Maximus!
Conan!
It doesn't matter what Gonzo tries. It all comes down to the same thing. The frog in black is now in control in this fight.
Who are you?
No one who matters.
Oh, you gotta tell me.
Nope.
Please?
Yeah, you see the disappointment.
Okay.
Frog in black moves like lightning. He thrusts forward, slashes, darts back, all in an almost single movement. Gonzo, stunned, looks at his arm. He sees a small line of felt. The frog in black again thrusts forward, faster than ever before, and again he slashes. There's never a move anyone makes that Gonzo doesn't remember. Gonzo blocks the slash, striking back with one of his own. Although the frog in black managed to retreat out of the range of the blow, the tide of the battle is turning once again, with Gonzo resuming control. They speed across the rocky terrain. They pass a small wall of stone and onto a completely different set. Interior, Errol Flynn Robin Hood stairs. They clash up the traditional classic movie sword fighting stairs, bending and tricking their swords in constant contrast. Gonzo backflips out of a window at the top of the stairs. Frog in Black leaps after him. Exterior, Cliffs of Insanity ruins. They land, both pausing for a beat to realize they are back where they began. The battle resumes. The six-finger sword is flickering as best as it can. A look of realization crosses Gonzo's face. He has given it all, done everything he can do, tried every style, made every maneuver, but it isn't enough. And for the first time since he fought the six-fingered bird, he is going to lose. The Frog in Black moves in, and for the end now, blocking everything. Suddenly, the six-fingered sword is sent, flying from Gonzo's grip. He stands helplessly only for a moment. Then he drops to his knees and closes his eyes. The Frog in Black stops in front of him, spinning his sword with grace.
Not bad for an amphibian.
What?
As a callback.
Oh, just kill me quickly.
I would as soon destroy a stained glass window as an artist yourself. However, since I can't have you following me either.
The Frog in Black clunks Gonzo's head with the handle of his sword.
Ow!
Oh, I'm sorry.
What'd you do that for?
I tried to knock you out.
Well, you just gotta ask nicely.
Oh, please pass out.
Okay, good fight.
And Gonzo pitches forward unconscious.
Please understand that I hold you in the highest respect.
Exterior mountain path. Moments later.
Conceivable! Ah!
Fozzie watches the Frog in Black running up the thin mountain, past far below. Sweetums carries the increasingly annoyed Miss Piggy on his shoulder, stands alongside Fozzie.
Give her to me!
Sweetum tosses her off his shoulder and she clutters down onto Fozzie, knocking him to the ground.
Catch up with us quickly!
Miss Piggy looks at Sweetum.
Toss me like that again, and you'll be eating my high heels.
What do I do?
Finish him, you fool! Finish him your way!
Oh, good. My way. Thank you for seeing my way, of course. Which way is my way?
Fozzie sighs a bit. A couple of boulders sit to the side, nothing gigantic. There's a large tree besides them.
Pick up one of those boulders.
Sweetum does what he's told.
Move behind the tree.
Sweetum hides behind the tree, but he's so big and the tree is so thin, it doesn't really work.
Perfect. Now in a few minutes, the Frog in Black will come running around the bend. The minute his head is in view, hit him with the boulder.
Fozzie and Miss Piggy hurry away.
My way isn't very sportsmanlike. I think I'm the bad guy.
He stands motionlessly behind the tree, the boulder cradled easily in his hands. Exterior mountain path, moments later. The Frog in Black races up the mountain trail towards the bend. He slows for a moment, then stops to listen. Sweetum waits around the bend. It's absolutely silent. The Frog in Black peeks toward. Sweetum sees his head for a moment and raises the boulder, but the head disappears as he lowers it. The Frog in Black peeks up again, and the boulder rises. His head retreats back, and Sweetum lowers the boulder. The Frog in Black, satisfied by the silence, continues forward. The instant his head fully comes to view, Sweetum steps out and fires the boulder like a rocket.
Hi-ho!
The Frog in Black turns. Aware he's caught, the boulder misses him by an inch, crashing harmlessly into the rock next to him. Sweetum steps out onto the path. He picks up another small boulder and holds it lightly.
I did that on purpose. I didn't have to miss.
Yes, you did. Or the movie would be over.
You doubt me?
No, I believe you. What happens now?
We face each other as Ensign intended. A sportsmanlike manner. No tricks, no weapons. Skill against skill.
You mean you'll put your rock down and I'll put my sword down and we'll try to kill each other like civilized people?
You lost me. Say it simpler.
You, no rock, me, no sword, fight till death.
You got it. I mean, I kill you now, like.
Sweetum sets to them, but the Frog in Black shakes his head, takes off his sword and begins to approach the giant.
Frankly, I think the odds are slightly in your favor at hand fighting.
It's not my fault being biggest, strongest. I don't even exercise.
He flips the rock away. The two men face off each other. The frog in black is no shrimp. That's Prince Humperdinck. But compared to the height of Sweetums, it's like he's not even there. There's a moment pause, then the frog in black dives at Sweetum's chest, slamming him with several tremendous blows on the stomach, twists his arms, slips skillfully into a bear hug, and in general makes any number of terrific wrestling moves that would make Andre proud. Sweetums just stands there, like he's taking in the scenery. Finally, the frog in black pushes himself away and stares at the giant.
Look, are you just messing around with me or what?
I want you to feel you're doing well. I hate people to die embarrassed.
They begin at it again. Then suddenly, Sweetum surges forward with stunning speed and grabs for a frog in black, who barely slips away. Sweetum swipes, grabbing. The frog in black drops to his knees and spins loose. Sweetum gets hands on him, but the frog in black twists free and lands on his feet, panting from the effort. Sweetum chuckles, almost like he's been trying to catch a greased frog. She kind of has.
You're quick.
And a good thing, too.
Sweetum readies himself.
Why wear a mask? Were you just figured at birth or burned by acid? Something? Big fan of the opera?
Oh no, it's just that they're terribly uncomfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future.
You have no idea how right you are there, frog. Sweetum considers this moment, then attacks, even faster than before. Sweetum charges, the frog in black dodging, but Sweetum moves with him. But instead of the frog in black twisting free from his grip, he grabs Sweetum's arm and uses it to jump onto Sweetum's back, his arms barely closing around Sweetum's neck. The frog in black begins to squeeze tighter.
I just figured out why you're giving me so much trouble.
Sweetums charge at a large rock, turning at the last moment, slamming the frog in black against a large rock. Despite the pain, the frog in black holds on.
Why is it, do you think?
Well, haven't fought just one person in so long. I've been specializing in groups, battling gangs for local charities, controlling mosh pits for hard rock shows, that kind of thing.
Sweetum slams the frog in black against another rock, a bit slower this time. The punishment is terrible, and even though it seems for a moment like the frog will drop his grip, if he doesn't, he holds firm.
Why should that make such a difference?
Well, you see, you use different moves when you're fighting half a dozen people. We've only got one to worry about.
As Sweetum approaches another rock to slam the frog on his back, he staggers.
Hey.
What?
Can you not do that, please?
Well, since you asked nicely.
Sweetum staggers again, dropping to his knees. The frog in black squeezes tighter as Sweetum struggles to breathe. Sweetum drops to all fours, crawling as the frog increases the pressure. Sweetum falls to the ground, face first, and lies still. The frog in black rolls off the back of Sweetum's, turning him over. He rests a small gloved hand on Sweetum's chest.
His heart still beats. Good.
The frog in black stands.
Do not envy you the headache you'll have when you awake, but in the meantime, take a 5-minute break and dream of large women.
I like large women.
The frog in black dashes off along the mountain path. Interior cliffs of Insanity ruins. Prince Humperdinck sits at the edge of the cliffs of Insanity, staring down. Sam the Eagle, mounted on his horse, watches, flanked by a dozen other mounted soldier puppets. Humperdinck jumps to his feet and begins examining the rocky terrain. He starts jumping from place to place, seemingly doing an odd flamenco. But after a beat, it's clear he's retracing the steps of a sword fight.
It was a mighty duel, okay? Arrange all over.
He changes hands, still in mine, shifting hands with his imaginary sword.
Sometimes I use left. Sometimes I use right.
What else can you discern?
They were both masters.
Who won? How did it end?
Humperdinck falls to the ground where Gonzo collapsed. Gonzo is clearly not there anymore.
My guess. The loser ran off alone, okay? While the winner followed the footprints together.
Humperdinck climbs the rolling stairs to mount his horse.
Shall we track them?
We don't need to lose her, okay? Only my princess matters. Clearly this was planned by warriors of Gilda. And we must be ready to dance on the graves, okay?
Could it be a trap, sir?
I always assume everything is a trap. I've been to too many cookouts. I've led the pot many times. That's why I'm still alive, okay?
Gallops off. Exterior picnic spread moments later. The frog and bat comes around the bend to see Fozzie holding a large rubber chicken to Miss Piggy's throat, as if it were a big knife. Fozzie munches on an apple, mostly just shoving it his flapping lips. Miss Piggy is bound and blindfolded. Spread out on the picnic spread in front of them are 2 goblets and between them a small leather wine container, along with some cheese and a couple apples. The frog in black takes this in, then slows. The 2 Muppets eat each other. Then,
So, now it is down to you, and it is down to me.
the frog in black nods and comes nearer.
If you wish her dead, by all means, keep moving forward.
He pushes a chicken to her throat, which wails the rubber chickens do.
Let me explain.
There's nothing to explain. You are trying to kidnap what I have rightfully stolen.
That seems like an oversimplification.
Perhaps.
Perhaps also an arrangement can be reached.
There will be no arrangements.
The frog in black moves closer still.
And you're killing her.
Ozzy pushes the chicken harder into her throat.
Cut that out.
Quiet, you.
Ozzy pops her in the head with the chicken. Miss Piggy stops and slowly turns to stare at him.
Watch it, Buster.
Sorry.
The frog in black raises a hand to Fozzie.
If there can be an arrangement, then we are at an impasse.
I don't know what that means, but this feels like a stalemate. I cannot compete with her physically, and you are no match for my brains.
You're not smart?
Let me put it this way. My artificial intelligence is no match for my natural stupidity. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
Yes.
Idiots!
Really? In that case, challenge you to a battle of wits.
For the princess.
Of course.
To the death?
Frog back nods.
I accept.
Then pour the wine.
Ozzy fills the goblet.
Where did it?
As the frog in black sits, the frog in black pulls a small packet from his clothing. He drops it by the wine.
Open it and inhale, but do not touch.
I smell nothing.
What you do not smell is called iocane powder. It is odorless, tasteless, and dissolves instantly in liquid, and is among the deadlier poisons known to man. Hand me the goblets.
Take them yourself. My hands are otherwise occupied.
Fozzie gestures to the chicken at Miss Piggy's throat. Fozzie watches excitedly as the frog in black takes the goblets and turns his back. A moment later, he turns again, faces Fozzie, and drops the empty packet of powder to the tablecloth. The frog in black sits and puts the 2 glasses down on the table, one in front of him and one in front of Fozzie.
All right. Where is the poison? The battle of wits has begun. It ends when one of us decides to take a drink. Whatever you choose, I shall take the other. Then we will see who is right and who is dead.
But it's so simple. All I need to know is divine what I know of you. How intelligent are you?
Intelligence is like underwear. It's important that you have it, but not necessary that you show it off.
You've bitten off more than you can chew, as they say. Ignorance is bliss.
Maybe you're hesitant to get a taste of your own medicine.
No, I simply can't count my chickens before they hatch.
Yet fortune favors the bold.
Fozzie observes the 2 goblets.
A penny for your dots.
A penny saved is a penny earned.
Just to put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh, I won't be quitting my day job.
I see you look before you leap.
Well, good things come to those who wait.
I hate to rain on your parade, but a choice must be made.
You know, I'm not a great fool, so I must consider all things.
Such as?
Your choice of poison. Iocane comes from Australia, and as everyone knows, Australia is entirely peopled with criminals, and criminals are used to having people not trust them, much like a frog who wears a mask.
Seasonal prejudice of people from Australia. Why don't we put that dot on ice for now?
Rain on your powder parade, but you've given yourself away.
Surely you have a dizzying intellect.
Wait till I get going. Where was I? No.
Eating on Australia.
Yes, to play devil's advocate, you most likely knew I know that the powder's origins, so you'd be less likely to put the poison in front of me.
I think we're ignoring the elephant in the room.
Hey!
But the devil is in the details.
You're stalling now. Is there a method to your madness?
You'd like to think that I wouldn't you, but you can have your cake and eat it too. You've beaten my giant, which means you are quite strong. So you could have put it in your cup, hoping your strength will shave you. So now I can't choose your wine, but you are also bested my whatever, which means you have studied. And in studying, you've gained existential dread. In learning that man is mortal. So you'd be inclined to put the poison as far away from you as possible. So I can't do the wine in front of me.
As Fozzie's ramping up, the frog and back patient is wearing thin.
You're just trying to trick me into giving up the goat. It won't work.
But you can't have your cake and eat it too. You've given everything away. I know where the poison is. Your methodology in the whole 9 yards.
Then spill the beans.
I will.
But before you do, consider this. Actions speak louder than words. As you've been learning of me, so have I of you. You're skated by on the skin of your teeth. You're hoping to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but this is one time you won't be able to live and learn. You're on the thin ice. This is the calm before the storm. And even though every dog has his day, I say you're more like a bear with a sore head. Now, I won't beat a dead horse. I'm fit as a fiddle. I do not believe you are playing with a full deck.
Fozzie stops for a beat to consider these words.
Well, you've certainly given me a lot to think about.
Fozzie absentmindedly picks up on of the objects and downs the wine. He puts it back down and strokes his chin, thinking hard. Fozzie realized he just made his choice.
It seems now as though I've cut the mustard. Now you drink your goblet.
The frog in black takes the other and drinks it.
Now, as I watch you die, I wish to leave you with these last pearls of wisdom. Never get involved in a land war in Asia, and the lesser known, never go against a bear when death is on the line.
He laughs and whirs and cackles, and whoops, is all the way quite cheery until suddenly the laughter stops. Fozzie falls over, stone dead. The frog in black steps past the corpse and takes the blindfold and bindings off of Miss Piggy. She notices Fozzie's dead at her feet as the frog in black pulls her upright.
Serves him right.
Shit. Sorry. She turns attention to the frog in black.
Who are you?
No one to be trifled with. That is all you need to know.
He starts to lead her off the mountain path and into untraveled terrain.
And to think, all that time, his cup held the poison.
That's where you're wrong. Both are poison. Frogs are immune to poison.
And with that, he takes off, dragging her behind him. Got to exterior mountain path later, where Sweetums fought the frog in black. Humperdinck pulls back the reins, looking to the ground.
Someone has beaten the giant. I pity the country of Gilders if she dies.
Exterior, a wild stretch of terrain. The frog in black comes running into view, still dragging Miss Piggy behind him. She sometimes stumbles, but he keeps forcing her along. Finally, she pants heavily as he lets her go.
Get your breath.
If you release me, whatever you ask for ransom, you'll get it. I promise you.
And what is that worth, the promise of a pig? You're very funny, Highness.
I was giving you a chance, Buster. It does not matter where you take me. There's no greater hunter than Prince Humperdinck. He can track a falcon on a cloudy day. Great seats at a Ricky Martin concert. He can find you.
Why would you track a falcon on a cloudy day?
It doesn't matter.
You think the dearest love will save you?
I never said he was my dearest love. But yes, he will save me. That I know.
You admit to me you do not love your fiancé.
He knows I don't love him.
You are not capable of love, is what you mean.
I have loved more deeply than a killer like yourself could ever dream.
The frog in black raises his hand as if he's going to slap her. Miss Piggy flinches as her hand stops a fraction of an inch from her face.
That was a warning, Highness. Next time my hand flies on its own for where I come from, there are penalties when a woman lies.
He flicks her snout, grabs her hand, and they are once again racing away. Exterior picnic spread later. They ride to Fozzie's dead body. Humperdinck kneels by the body and lifts up his empty packet. He sniffs it, then holds it to Sam.
Are you okay? I bet my life on it, okay? But look, the princess footprints. She is alive. No less than 2 hours ago. We ride.
Humperdinck horses take off, catching Pepe's legs in the reins and dragging him off, followed by the remaining. Exterior hillside path later. Miss Piggy trips and falls heavily on her face. The frog in black releases her.
Ah,
Yes, Highness.
I know who you are. Your cruelty reveals everything.
The frog in black casts her a glance.
You're the dread pirate Henson. Admit it.
With pride, what can I do for you?
You can die slowly, cut into 1,000 pieces.
Seems a little harsh. It's hardly complimentary, Highness. Why loose your venom on me?
Because you killed my love.
The frog in black is watching her closely.
That's possible. I kill a lot of people.
He pulls her up to her feet, and again they start to run. To exterior wooded path. Humperdinck, riding like a prawn out of hell, approaches the same stretch of wild terrain where Miss Piggy promised to pay the ransom. The others ride up behind Humperdinck. Sam rides up next to him and stops.
She was alive 50 minutes ago. And if she is otherwise, then when I find her, I should be very put out, okay?
In a fury, he rides off.
Ah.
Exterior hillside path later. The frog in black leads Miss Piggy along the edge of an almost sheer ravine. The drop is sharp and severe. Below the ravine floor is flat, but getting there would not be half the run.
And who was this love of yours? Another prince like this one? Ugly, rich, and shrimpy?
No, a farm frog. Poor and perfect, with eyes like the sea after a storm.
She stares daggers at him. If she doesn't hate him so much, there'd be tears in her eyes.
Your ship attacked, and the dread pirate Henson never takes prisoners.
I cannot afford to make exceptions. One word leaks out that a pirate has gone soft, people begin to disobey you, and it's nothing but work. Work, work all the time.
You mock my pain.
Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
He pulls her along.
I remember your farm frog. I think that'd be, 5 years ago?
She nods.
Does it bother you to hear?
Nothing you can say will upset me. My heart is not a secret garden, and the walls are very high.
He died well, and to please you. He made no brave attempts or blubbering. He simply said, please, please, I need to live. It was the please that caught my memory. I always appreciate manners. That's what was so important for him here. True love, he replied. And he spoke of a pig surpassing beauty and faithfulness. I can only assume he meant you. You should bless me for destroying him before he found out what you are.
That's harsh, don't you think? What am I?
Faithfulness, he talked of, madam. Your enduring faithfulness. Now tell me truly, when you found out he was gone, did you get engaged to your prince that same hour, or did you wait a whole week out of respect for the dead?
You mocked me once. Never do it again. I died that day, just like when my show was canceled.
The frog in black is about to respond, but something catches his eye. He sees Humperdinck and his men rising up from the hills, coming towards them. Piggy notices he's distracted and follows his gaze. She looks at him with cold eyes.
You can die too, for all I care. Hi-ya!
She chops at the frog in black in the chest, and he teeters off the edge of the ravine, then begins to fall. Down he goes, rolling, spinning, crashing, always down towards the flat rock floor of the. Miss Piggy watches him fall. Transfixed, she breathes a sigh of relief and turns towards Humperdinck, her rescuer, still a ways away. From below her, the words trailing in the wind. He finally hits the ravine floor. The frog in black feebly moves, managing to pull the mask from his face. Miss Piggy sees this, blinks back tears.
Oh, my sweet Wesley, what have I done?
Without a second thought or consideration of the danger, she jumps from the ravine after him. She does wonderfully, at least for a while. But then as it gets too sharp, the rocks under her feet betray her, and she is falling now, spinning and twisting, crashing into a cart, reeling down towards what is left of her beloved. Cut to exterior hillside path. Moments later, Prince Humperdinck and the others are reining in on the spot where Miss Piggy told the frog in black she knew he was the dead pirate Hansen. Humperdinck shakes his head.
We got a little less than half an hour, okay? They must have seen our dust car closing in, which might account for their panicking and error, okay?
Humperdinck points to the sky.
Unless I am wrong, and I am never wrong. They are heading dead into the fire swamp, okay?
At the mere mention of the fire swamp, Sam goes pale and gulps. Cut to exterior ravine floor. Two bodies lie a few feet apart, not moving. It is, of course, Kermit and Miss Piggy. They might be dead. After a few moments, Kermit slowly forces his body into motion. Miss Piggy, bruised and torn as Kermit crawls towards her.
Can you move at all?
Move? You're alive. If you want, I can fly.
She caresses his face.
Oh, Wesley, dearest.
Remember I said I would always come for you? Why didn't you wait for me?
Well, you were dead.
You should have more faith, my dear. Death cannot stop true love. All it can do is delay it for a while.
I will never doubt again.
There will never be a need.
They move in to kiss, tender and loving and gentle, and
Oh, no, no, please.
interior Robin's room.
What's the matter?
They're kissing again. Do we have to hear the kissing part?
I could always tell you the story of the jigsaw killer if you prefer.
I just don't like kissing. It's gross.
Someday you might not mind so much.
Skip to the fire swamp. That part sounded cool.
You're sick. I'll humor you.
Grandpa picks up the book and exterior ravine floor. Miss Piggy and Kermit race along the ravine floor. Kermit looks up to see Prince Humperdinck and his men perched at the top of the cliff, looking down at them.
Your shrimp fiancé is too late. Just a few more steps and we'll be safe in the fire swamp.
Even though he sounds confident, Miss Piggy isn't buying it. She stops, afraid, but afraid to admit it.
We'll never survive.
Nonsense. You're only saying that because no one ever has.
You're damn right.
Kermit pulls her into the swamp, leaving Humperdinck and his men stranded, defeated. Interior fire swamp. Moments later, the swamp doesn't look any worse than any moist suffers infernal horror you might run across. Great trees block the sun. Miss Piggy is clearly panicked, jumping at almost every sound. Maybe Kermit is too, but he moves gently along, sword in hand.
You know, I'm kind of disappointed. It's not that bad in here. Reminds me of back home. Not saying I'd like to build a summer home here, but trees are actually quite lovely.
One of the tree branches swats him in the back of the head, as if it's got a mind of its own.
On second thought,
He's swatted by another branch.
ow!
There's a faint popping, and a giant splur of flames leap up from the ground. It misses Kermit, but it catches Miss Piggy's dress, the fabric going up in flames. Kermit instantly dives at her, knocking her to the ground, throwing his body over the flames to smolder them. This isn't the easiest task, but he does his best. Kermit helps to his feet. She is dazed, and her panic has only grown, but Kermit seems a little more excited.
Well, now that was an adventure.
He examines where the flames burst over her.
Singed a bit, were you?
You think?
She takes a deep, calming breath.
What about you?
He shakes his head no. There's another popping sound, and Kermit lifts Miss Piggy out of the way as another large spurge of flames shoots up.
One thing I will say, the firestorm does keep you on your toes.
Miss Piggy is frozen with fear. She takes his hand as he gently leads her forward into the fire swamp. A little while later, they move slowly through a particularly dangerous part of the fire swamp.
This will also be but a happy memory. Robert's ship Revenge is anchored at the far end, and I, as you know, am Henson.
But how is it possible since he's been marauding for 20 years and you only left me 5 years ago?
I myself am often surprised at life's little quirks. You see, when I told you before about saying please was true.
To another popping sound, and Wesley picks her up and casually moves her out of the way as splits of flames shoot up. To flashback the revenge, the past. Kermit is on his knees, a long sword is throat. The sword is held by a man who looks a lot like Long John Silver, but with a black mask.
Then treat him by saying please, as did my description of your beauty.
Kermit holds up a sketch of Miss Piggy, drawn like one of those French girls. Henson looked tantalizingly at the picture, then tucks it in his coat. Interior fire swamp present. Kermit and Miss Piggy arrive at several flesh-eating vines. Kermit slashes at them, and they groan as they fall. Kermit is just tatting away, the definition of casual.
Finally, Henson decided something.
Flashback, the revenge, the past. Henson sits with Kermit in his quarters.
He said,
All right, Wesley. I've never had a valet. You can try it out tonight. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
Kermit nods, gulping a little.
For 3 years he said that.
Flashback, the revenge. A little while later, Henson looks at Kermit as he lays in a bunk.
Good night, Wesley. Good work. Sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning.
Montage, the revenge through the years. Kermit and Henson working together on the ship, slowly building a friendship. Kermit learning to fence. Kermit sailing on this little sailboat next to the revenge.
It was a fine time for me. I was alive and learning to fence, to fight, anything anyone would teach me. Henson and I eventually became friends. Then it happened.
What? Go on.
Flashback to revenge years later. Kermit lays at the bedside of Henson.
Henson had grown so rich, he wanted to retire. He took me to his quarters and told me his secret.
I am not the dread pirate, Henson. My name is Dwayne. I inherited a ship from the previous dread pirate Henson, just as you will inherit it from me. The man I inherited was not the real Henson either. His name was Cumberbatch. The real Henson had been retired 15 years now and living like the king in Patagonia.
Interior fire swamp present. Kermit helps Miss Piggy across the rickory branch to cross a small bit of water.
Then he explained that the name was an important thing for inspiring the necessary fear.
I like Batman.
Sure. He explained that no one would surrender to Dread Pirate Wesley. So we sailed ashore, took on a new crew, and he stayed aboard for a while as his first mate, all the time calling me Henson. Once the crew believed, he left the ship, and I have been Henson ever since. Except now that we are together, I shall retire and hand the name over to someone else. Is everything clear to you?
Oh, like The Dark Knight Rises.
I haven't seen it.
It's not great.
Miss Piggy is about to break down the plot for him when she begins sinking. She drops quickly into a patch of snow sand and quickly beneath its surface.
Wesley?
Kermit rolls, slashing a hanging vine, making sure it's still connected to the tree. He grabs it, stabs his sword to a stump, and dives into the hole, still clutching the other end of the vine. There's a poof of white powder as he slips beneath the surface. Silence. Nothing moves in the swamp, save for the random burst of flames. From in the trees, a large panting can be heard. A massive louse, also known as Rizzo, looks down from the branches.
Ow, what's going on over here? Ow, nice sword!
Rizzo drops from the tree and tries to pull the sword from the stump, but no luck.
What is this, Excalibur or something?
The patch of snow sand bursts up another plume of dust, and Rizzo books it out of there. Another cough of dust. Miss Piggy's face breaks the surface of the sand. She is caked in the stuff.
I feel like a beignet.
She coughs up a mouthful of sand as Kermit continues pushing her out of the pit. As Kermit struggles to get her to safety, Rizzo watches from overhead. Miss Piggy sits on a walk, patting sand out of her ears. Kermit cleans the sand from his face now. Rizzo draws closer to the pair, staring. Kermit stares back. Kermit picks up Miss Piggy.
We'll never succeed. We may as well die here. And before we see if this movie is a success.
You've already succeeded.
Kermit looks back, and there are now two Rizzos staring at him. Kermit walks with her, trying to be encouraging.
What are the three terrors of the fire swamp? One, the flame spurts, no problem. There's a little popping sound preceding each. We can avoid that. Two, the snow sand, but you were clever enough to discover what it looks like. So in the future, we can avoid that too.
What about the ROUSs, Wesley?
The rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
A third unseen Wizzo jumps from the tree and tackles Kermit to the ground. Miss Piggy screams.
I'm so hungry, and I've always had anything for boiled frog legs. Yes, honey?
Rizzo attacks Kermit's shoulder, biting it with the large teeth.
Oh, get off me, foul thing!
Kermit hears a popping sound, and in one desperate move, he rolls into the flames. Rizzo ends up on top of it, and in blasted as Kermit keeps rolling to safety. Rizzo's floundering around on fire. He pops up, still burning. Rizzo runs off and dives into the small river they crossed earlier. Kermit stands exhausted as Miss Piggy breathes a sigh of relief. Kermit manages a smile. Then they hear a branch breaking. Both turn to see two other Rizzos in front of them. They drop to their perch and to the ground. They slowly advance on Kermit. Kermit draws his sword. Suddenly, the Rizzos break into a fierce charge. Kermit stands to the ground. They charge right past him and towards the river. The charred Rizzo stands up and sees them running at him.
Hey guys! I'm okay!
The two other Rizzos dive at him, starting to eat. Oh.
No, this is way too graphic for a kid's movie!
Miss Piggy hurries to Kermit as he holds her close. He throws an arm around her and leads her away from the bloodshed. Interior fire swamp. They can see the far edge of the fire swamp just ahead and beyond a beach.
We did it.
Now, wasn't that so terrible?
They pick up the pace and finally break the wall of trees. Exterior edge of fire swamp. They come to a stop, seeing something they didn't expect. Prince Humphrunting and his men.
Surrender!
Sam sits beside him. Several warriors, already in formation, sit behind him. Miss Piggy and Kermit are at the edge of the fire swamp, about to leave it. Miss Piggy looks exhausted. Kermit looks worse.
You mean you wish to surrender me? Very well, I accept.
I give you 4 marks for bravery, okay? Don't make a fool of yourself.
Well, how will you capture us? We know the secrets of the fire swamp. We can live here happily for quite some time. Whenever you feel like dying, feel free to visit.
I tell you again, surrender, okay?
It will not happen.
Miss Piggy looks from one to the other when something catches her eye. She sees an armed warrior, his crossbow aimed at Kermit.
For the last time, surrender my beauty.
Death first.
Miss Piggy frantically stares between the three. Another warrior steps up, blocking their escape into the fire swamp.
You promise not to hurt him.
Pepe whirls to face her.
What was that? Are you whispering something? We were just yelling. I can't hear no little whispers, okay?
Yeah, I missed it too.
If we surrender freely and without struggle, will you promise not to hurt this man?
Pudding holds two of his white fingers.
I live 1,000 years and never hunt again.
He is a poor, simple sailor and a fan from the pirate ship Revenge. I have known him since we were young. Will you promise to return him to his ship?
Pudding and Sam exchange a look.
That's what it would be done.
Pepe leans in to whisper to Sam.
Once we're out of sight, take him to the pit of despair, okay?
I swear it will be done.
What? What are you conspiring about over there?
Nothing, my love. Just about how I've missed you, okay?
Miss Piggy turns to face Kermit.
I thought you were dead once. It almost destroyed me. I could not have you die again. Not when I can save you.
Kermit is stunned silent. Miss Piggy is barely holding back tears. She can't mutter the words to speak. She breaks from his grip and crosses the distance to Humperdinck, struggling to climb up into his horse.
Help her.
A few soldiers rush to her, helping to push her back up onto the horse. Once she is on, Humperdinck turns and rides away. Kermit stares after her as Sam, dismounted now, and his warriors advance on Kermit. Sam holds a heavy sword in his hand.
Come, sir. We must get you to your ship.
We are men of action. Why do not become us?
Well spoken.
Kermit stares daggers at him, his eyes trailing over Sam.
What is it?
You have 6 fingers on your right hand. I met someone who's looking for you.
Sam clubs Kermit hard across the skull, and Kermit falls like a stone. Interior pits of despair later. Darkness. In the darkness, the clanking of chains can be heard. Kermit lies at the center of a large cage, right at home in the dank atmosphere of the pit. Something more frightening walks up to the cage, a bloodless-looking albino named Wolf. Wolf opens the cage and places a small tray of food at Kermit's feet. He then starts tending to Kermit's wounds. Kermit winces.
Where are we?
The pit of despair. Sorry. Pit of despair. Welcome. Don't even think about escaping. Your chains are too thick. Don't dream of rescue either. The only way here is a secret. Only the prince, the count, and I know how to get in and out.
So I'm here till I die then?
Till I kill you? Yeah, of course.
So why bother curing me, healing me?
The prince, the count, always insist everyone be healthy before they're broken.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't have to. They're the bad guys.
Supposed to be torture.
Wolf nods.
I can cope with torture.
Wolf shakes his head. That's what you think.
You don't believe me?
You survived the fire swamp. You must be very brave. But no one withstands the machine.
Interior Porkin Castle later. Miss Piggy wanders the halls of the castle, her face sad. Humperdinck and Sam watch her walking the halls.
She's been like that ever since the fire swamp. It must be my father's failing health that's affecting her, right?
Sam doesn't know how to respond. The prince doesn't like to be lied to.
King died that very night, and before the following dawn, Butterpig and Humperdinck were married, and at noon she met her subjects again, this time as their queen. And
Hey, hold it a second, please.
Here, Robin's room. Robin's sitting up in bed, clearly not better, but stronger than he was at the start of the story. His grandfather sits at the bed now, holding the book.
You read that wrong. Are your eyes failing, old man?
old man.
She doesn't marry Humperdinck. She marries Wesley. I'm just sure of it. After all that Wesley did for her, she didn't marry him. Wouldn't be fair.
Who said life was fair? Where is that written? Life isn't fair. It's just fairer than death is all.
Well, that's depressing.
Right?
I'm telling you, you're messing up the story. Now get it right.
Do you want me to read this or not?
Oh, yeah.
Then no more interruptions.
He opens the book and resumes reading.
At noon, she met her subjects again, this time as queen.
Exterior castle grounds. Prince Humperdinck stands the same balcony where he did before. Sam stands behind him.
My father's final word were, love her as I loved her. And there will be joy, I think. But anyways, I present to you your queen, Queen Butterpig.
The gigantic crowd turn as the doors open, and there stands Miss Piggy. She moves through them once again, all dropping to their knees as she passes. Miss Piggy is touched, just like before, but then seems stunned by sound. In the crowd, someone is booing. The booing gets louder as the wild-looking creature approaches Piggy through the crowd, booing every step of the way.
What's the big idea? They would have killed my Wesley if I hadn't done it.
So he lied, but you're married another? Boo!
Animal turns to the crowd.
True love, the lady from swamp. She treat him like garbage. Meet Carina refused. Cheer the queen of slime! Cheer the mock queen! Stinky queen! Stinky queen! Stinky queen!
In the box.
Oh, sorry so much. We marking the pig again?
Ooh, we can get in on that.
Boo! Boo!
Animal gets closer and closer, booing louder and louder at Miss Piggy. Animal reaches for her throat, and Piggy struggles to fight him off, but to no avail. Interior Miss Piggy's room. Miss Piggy awakened from her nightmare. Alone in her bed, she grabs her robes and starts to run.
It was still 20 days till the wedding, but the king still lived. But Butterpig's nightmares were growing steadily worse.
See, didn't I tell you she'd never marry that rotten Humperdinck?
Mac waddles the world as Waldman is thunked with the book.
Ow!
Yes, you're very smart. Now shut up.
Miss Piggy arrives at a large door and starts banging on it. The door opens, and there stands Prince Humperdinck. Behind him, Sam sits at a desk covered with official-looking papers.
It comes to this. I love Wesley. I always have. I know now I always will. If you tell me I must marry you in 20 days, please believe me, I will be dead by morning.
Humperdinck looks stunned. Finally, softly, he speaks.
I can never go to grief, okay? Consider the wedding off.
He glances back to Sam.
You return this Wesley to his ship,
Sam nods.
then we must alert him, okay?
He turns back to Miss Piggy.
Beloved, are you certain he still wants you? After all, it was you who left him at the fire swamp. Not to mention the pirates are known to love the ladies.
My Wesley will always come for me.
Then I suggest a deal, okay? You write 4 copies of a letter. I'll send my 4 fastest ships, one in each direction, okay? I hear the Dread Pirate Henson is often close to porking this time of year. Roll out the white flag and deliver your message. If Wesley wants you, okay, bless you both. But if not, please consider this lovely King Prawn as an alternative to suicide, okay? Are we agreed?
Piggy nods. The woods later. Humperdinck and Sam move through a thick grove of trees. All are extraordinarily nodded.
She really is a winning creature. A trifle simple, perhaps, but her appeal is undeniable.
I know, okay? The people are quite taken with her. It's odd. What a hard Fozzie to have a murder on her engagement day. I thought that was clever. But it's going to be more moving when I strangle her on her wedding night. Once Gilder is blamed, the nation will be truly outraged. Let the man to go to war, okay?
Now, where is that secret knot? It's miserable finding this place at night. We made it too secret.
Oh, shoot. Sam pulls out a small iPhone and turns on the flashlight. He casts it around the trees until he finds what he's looking for. He clicks a special knot on the tree. It's attached. It opens, revealing a staircase leading underground.
Ah, are you joining me in the pit? Wesley's almost got his strength. I was planning on starting him on the machine soon.
Sam, you know, I love watching you work. But I've got my country's 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, Gilder to flame for. I'm swamped, okay? I'm gonna go up a wedding in a few days. Never mind. I'd rather just get going on it, okay?
Get some rest. If you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything.
Sam smiles, waves, and hurries down the stairs as the tree slides back perfectly into place. Interior Humperdinck's room. Humperdinck's in his quarters, swamped. Piles of papers are strewn all over. Now yelling. Known to us as Scooter, a shifty man appears in the doorway.
Sire.
Ah, good. You are here. Achievement Forcer of all Porkin. I trust you with the secret. Get us some guild out infiltrating our thieves' quarter and plan to murder my bride on the wedding night, okay?
My spy network has heard no such news, sire.
Any word from Wesley?
Humperdinck and Scooter turn to see Miss Piggy standing in the doorway.
It's too soon, my angel. Patience.
I don't have any.
Please try.
He'll come for me.
Of course, my lovely.
She glides out of the room.
She will not be murdered. I want the thieves' quarter emptied. The nickels too. I want it all locked and every inhabitant arrested.
Many of these will resist. My regular enforcers will be inadequate.
Pull my roots, then, okay? Well, the heads. The thieves' quarter must be closed before I wed.
It won't be easy, sire.
Try ruling the world sometime, okay?
Interior, the pits of despair. There's an enormous device waking to life. It's hard to tell what it is and what it does, but it's massive and unsettling. Sam Eagle drags the thing alongside Kermit in the cage. Levers and reels and wires, you name it, it's there.
Beautiful, isn't it?
He licks on the suction cups and attaches it to Kermit.
It took me half a lifetime to invent it.
Wolf sits in the far corner reading the newspaper. He looks up at the device and shivers with fear. Sam works away, attaching more suction cups to Kermit.
I'm sure you've discovered my deep and abiding interest in pain. At present, I'm writing the definitive work on the subject. It covers everything from paper cuts to stub toes to dealing with disappointing finales for TV shows. So I want you to please be totally honest with me on how the machine makes you feel.
Sam fiddles with a dial, covering with numbers ranging from low of 1 to a high of 50.
This being your first try, I'll use the lowest setting.
He flips the dial to 1. Kermit is covered with suction cups on his head, temples, heart, his hand, and feet. He's struggling to keep control of himself. Sam fiddles with the machine a little bit more.
Now all we have to do is get the wheels spinning to generate power, and we should be in business.
And the minute the machine really starts, Kermit lies on the table, and while he's only felt and the chains are metal and thick, so intense its desperation that it almost seems he might break the chains. Terrible sound escapes his throat, and in present gasping, it keeps coming. Sam turns off the machine and picks up a large notebook and pen. Sitting in a chair next to Kermit, Sam opens up the book to a blank page.
As you must know, the concept of the suction cup is centuries old. Well, really, that's all this is, you see. Except instead of sucking water, I'm sucking life.
Oh, you suck all right.
Hush.
I've just sucked away 1 year of your life. If I set the dial to 2, that would mean 2 years gone, 2 times the pain. I might someday go as high as 5, but I don't know what that would do to you. So let's start with what we have. What did this do to you? Tell me. And remember now, this is for posterity, so be honest. How do you feel?
Kermit is in anguish so deep it's dizzying. Helpless, he cries. Sam watches the tears, then starts to write notes.
Interesting.
Here, the thieves' quarter. There's lots of hollering going on. The thieves are being rounded by the brute squad, a large group of even larger men. Scooter stands on a wagon in the midst of all the scuffling.
Is everyone out? Almost. There's a drunk, whatever with a word that sword that's been giving us some trouble. Then you give us some trouble!
He signals for the wagon to start and he topples off the top of it. Exterior the thieves' quarter, the assistant brute watches Scooter clamber back up and jump onto the wagon. Then he hurls along a narrow street. The assistant then turns the corner, slowly as a familiar voice is heard.
I'm waiting for Fozzie. You told me to go back to the beginning, and so I have. And this is where I'll stay. I will not be moved!
The assistant peers into a tiny courtyard. Gonzo is slumped on a filthy soup, bottle of yoo in one hand, and the 6-fingered sword in the other. He looks dreadful. His eyes are puffy, and he's got the beginnings of a full beard. But the way he brandishes the great sword in front of him would give anyone a pause for worry. The assistant moves away from Gonzo's sight, gesturing as he calls out.
You brute, come here.
Gonzo takes a long pull of his yoo-hoo. He stops and sees the assistant brute come to view.
Who there?
Who you calling a hoe? I don't budge. Keep your hoe there.
Gonzo waves the sword around dangerously.
The prince gave orders.
So did Fozzie. When a job went wrong, you went back to the beginning. Well, this is where we got the job, so it's the beginning, and I'm staying until Fozzie comes.
I don't think so.
Gonzo is lifted up by the brute, the assistant brute called for.
I'm waiting for Fozzie.
You surely are a meanie.
Fozzie?
Who else would you pick?
The brute holding Gonzo, revealing a very happy Sweetums. The assistant brute moving quickly up unnoticed the other two. Sweetum holds Gonzo as the assistant brute raises a club. Neither of them notice.
It's you!
True.
The assistant brute is about to club Gonzo's brains out, but Sweetum lets fly with a stunner's punch. The assistant brute takes the full force of the blow right to his chop. It's like a shot from a cannon. The assistant brute careens backwards and flies across the street. A crunching sound fills the air as the assistant brute head clearly makes contact with something hard. Sweetum puts Gonzo down.
You don't look so good. Don't smell so good either.
Perhaps not, but I feel fine.
Gonzo faints. Cuts to interior empty alehouse. Gonzo slits slumped in a chair, still passed out, while Sweetum brings over a plate of food, slaps him gently awake, and starts to feed him.
Oh, does that make a difference?
Take it easy.
I'm sorry for fainting before, but I've done nothing all these days but drink and wait for Fozzie. I'm helpless without Fozzie. And a surprise like seeing you, well, it was just too much for an empty stomach, but I'm fine now.
Good. Fozzie is dead.
Dead, you say? Well, that's something. Can you excuse me for a second? Huh?
Gonzo faints again. Cuts to interior empty alehouse later. Gonzo lies on a bed above the alehouse kitchen, once again passed out as with a bowl, and begins toweling off Gonzo's face with warm water.
Oh, that's so nice and warm. It feels wonderful.
I hope so.
Forgive me, my friend. I never realized I was in such horrible condition. But seeing you and then hearing about Fozzie, I wasn't ready for it. But now I'm ready for anything.
Wonderful and good news. Six-Finger Fiend is named Count Rugen. At this very moment, he's here in Portland.
Wunderbar!
And Gonzo fades again. The interior empty alehouse later. 2 large tubs, one filled with steaming water, the other filled with clearly icy water. Without a word, Sweden picks up Gonzo by the scruff of his neck and shoves him in the icy water. After a few beats, he pulls Gonzo out and dunks him in the steaming water. He repeats this process a few times.
You'll take me for this someday.
Oh!
That's all he has time to say before Sweden dunks him again.
Where is this Rugen? Now so I may kill him!
He's with the prince in the castle. Castle's locked till after the wedding tomorrow night. Only one door has been left unsealed. 30 men guarded.
How many can you handle?
They're the cream of the bourgeois, so I don't think more than 10.
Leaving 20 for me. And at my best, I don't think I could defeat that many. Even with my cannon. I need Fozzie to plan. I have no gift for strategy.
But Fozzini's dead. I'm no help. I haven't done one thing right in over 11 years.
They're quietly for a bit. Then a wild thought hits Gonzo.
No! Not Fozzie! I need the frog in black!
What?
Look, he bested you with strength, your grandness, and he bested me with steel. You must have outfought Fozzie, and a frog who can do that can plan my castle onslaught any day. I wonder about him often.
Rumors are he's the princess's true love.
No time for backstory now. Let's go!
Where?
To find the frog in black, obviously.
But you don't know where he is.
You're right. But I don't bother with trifles. Soon my creator's soul will be at peace.
Sweden nods, still a little unsure.
Also, I've got the script.
Gonzo pulls out the script and flips to the conversation they are having. Sweden nods, now fully on board. Gonzo looks at the next line, then steers himself to deliver it.
There will be blood tonight!
Not ours, I hope.
Interior Humperdinck's room. The room is still strewn with maps. Miss Piggy is with them. Scooter enters.
Rise on a boat, okay?
The thieves' quarters shuttered 30 guard the castle gate.
How many more? Make it 100, okay? 100 brutes. My princess must be safe.
The main gate has but one key, and I carry that.
Scooter shows the keys, dangling from a chain around his neck.
Tonight we marry. Tomorrow morning, your men will escort us to the Pocket Channel, where every ship in my toy collection will accompany us on our honeymoon.
Every ship but your 4 fastest, you mean?
Oopsie.
Humperdinck looks at her blankly for a moment.
Every ship but the 4 you sent.
All right, of course. Naturally not those 4. Yes, okay? Naturally not those 4.
Aye, your majesties.
Scooter bows and leaves as Miss Piggy just stares at Humperdinck.
You never sent those ships, did you?
Okay.
You lying little shrimp.
Hey, I am soon to be a king, bro.
It doesn't matter. Wesley will come for me anyway.
You're a silly little girl, okay?
I might be a silly girl, for not having seen sooner that you were nothing but a coward, a tiny little shrimp full of fear.
I will not say such things if I were you.
Why not? You can't hurt moi. Wesley and I are joined by the bounds of love, and you cannot track that, not with 1,000 bloodhounds. And you cannot break it, not with 1,000 swords. And when I say you are a coward, that is only because you are the slimiest weakling ever to crawl the earth.
You don't have to be so mean.
Humperdinck pulls out a ring box and holds it up in front of her.
What's that?
Just the biggest jewel in all the land, okay?
Give it to me.
Humperdinck walks away towards her room as she follows him. He reaches the door of her room with Miss Piggy following right behind him. Humperdinck opens up the door and throws the ring box inside. Miss Piggy jumps in after it. Humperdinck slams the door behind her and locks it. Miss Piggy opens up the ring box and sees a small shrimp attached to a ring.
I can't believe I fell for that.
Exterior of the woods. Humperdinck races towards the woods, towards the pit of despair. Interior, the pit of despair. Kermit is hooked onto the machine, but it's not on. Sam is making a few adjustments. He looks up as Humperdinck comes down the steps, raging. Humperdinck comes to the table and stares Kermit in the eyes.
You truly love each other, so you might have been truly happy, okay? Not one the couple in a century has been that chance. No matter that the storybook say, not Kim and Kanye, not Ben and Jennifer, not Megan and Machine Gun Kelly, no one. So I think no frog in a century will suffer as greatly as you will.
Pepe whirls and turns on the machine, grabbing the lever. Sam sees the prince and yells out.
Not to 50.
But it's too late. Humperdinck shoves the lever all the way up to 50. Kermit's face contorts and the mother of all squunches. He's never been in so much pain. The pain grows and grows until something escapes his throat. The death scream. The scream starts to rise. As Wolf from the shadows, he shivers, then puts on some noise-canceling headphones and resumes reading his newspaper. Exterior of the woods, Kermit screams echoes through the night. Interior Miss Piggy's room. She hears a scream but doesn't know what it is. She involuntarily hugs herself. Exterior castle grounds. Scooter hears the scream. The brutes turn to each other and hug their friends. Exterior town square. Hundreds of people, all waiting to celebrate the 500th anniversary, stop at the sound of the scream. Several fragile children start crying. Gonzo and Sweden look up from their script in the sky, hearing the scream.
Fezzik, listen! Do you hear that? That's the sound of ultimate suffering. My heart made that sound when Rugen slaughtered my creator.
I heard that sound when I saw Jupiter ascending.
And the frog makes it now.
How do you know it's him?
His true love is marrying another tomorrow. Who else has the cause for ultimate suffering on this day of celebration?
They try to push toward the crowd, but it's too densely packed.
Pardon me, it's important.
The crowd pushes tighter together.
Excuse me.
The crowd knocks Gonzo to the ground.
Fezzik, help me! Ow, you stepped on my hand!
Sweden rises to full height.
Everybody move!
His arms shoot through the crowds and push everyone aside. Gonzo pops up to his feet, starts running after the quickly fading sound. The woods. A small shed near the grove of the tree opens. Wolf appears, taking out the wheelbarrow.
I'm having the devil's own time tracking that scream.
Wolf stops hearing the voice. Suddenly, Gonzo's sword flies to Wolf's throat.
Where is the frog in black?
Wolf shakes, not saying anything.
Where? He's somewhere in the grove, yes? Jog his memory, Fezzik.
Sweden thumps Wolf on the head of the ground like a hammer driving the nail. Wolf drops to the ground without making a sound.
I'm sorry, Inigo. I didn't mean to hit him so hard. His head got closer to my hand than I meant it. Inigo!
Gonzo kneels holding the sword in his hand. He closes his eyes and faces the grove of trees.
I've been a plumber, a stuntman, a drunk, and a fool. I've had my share of suffering, Father. I've failed you for 20 years. But now our misery can end. Somewhere close by is the frog who can help us. I can't find him alone. I need you.
He rises, eyes still closed.
I need you to guide my sword. Please, guide my sword.
Gonzo's sword glows blue and starts sounding like a lightsaber. Gonzo's eyes peek open.
Cool.
He closes his eyes again and starts walking towards his sword, in his path. Sweden stands behind him, confused. Gonzo walks past the secret knot in the tree, clearly not aware of it. Gonzo stands frozen it for a moment, then whirls back, eyes still closed. He holds the sword out and stabs it right into the secret knot. The tree slides away, revealing the staircase. Gonzo's eyes open and he looks at Sweden.
I'm a Jedi!
In the pits of despair, Gonzo and Sweden rush down the stairs, finally casting their eyes on Kermit, dead on the table by the machine. Sweden rushes to his side, touching Kermit's face.
He's dead.
Gonzo sags.
It just isn't fair.
Grandpa, wait a minute.
That's the interior Robin's room. Robin looks enthralled in the story and stronger than he looked before.
What did Fezzik mean? He's dead. He didn't mean dead, right?
Does death mean something else to you?
No, but I mean, Wesley's only faking, right?
He's not faking.
But no, who gets Humprundink?
I don't understand.
Who kills Prince Humprundink? At the end, somebody's got to get him. It's Inigo, right? Who? Tell me.
Well, somebody's bossy when they're sick. Nobody kills him. He lives.
What? He wins? Jeez, Grandpa, this story sucks. Why did you read this thing to me?
You know what? You've been awful sick, and this book is very serious. The other kid didn't take it this badly.
What other kid?
Don't worry about it. I think we should stop now.
Grandfather starts to get up.
No, it's okay. It's back down. Don't worry, I'm okay. I'm like Butterpig now. My heart is a secret garden with very high walls.
Well, there's no need to go that far. But, all right then.
Enter the pits of despair. Gonzo is in despair. He sags.
It isn't fair.
He takes a deep breath.
Well, we whatevers have never taken defeat easily. Come along, Fezzik, and bring the body.
The body? I don't want to touch a dead body.
Tough. Have you any money? I used all mine on booze.
I think I got little. Can we revisit the whole me touching a dead body thing?
Just grab it. I just hope it's enough to buy a miracle.
Sweden grabs the corpse, clearly grossed out, and follows Gonzo up the stairs. That's the interior Miss Piggy's room. Miss Piggy stares out the window.
I know you're out there, Wesley. I know you're coming for me now and not dead or anything. That would be crazy.
She continues to stare. Cut to exterior hovel desk. Gonzo, Sweden, and Kermit corpse approaches a door. They knock. The original action describes the voice that follows as, if Mel Brooks, 2,000-year-old man, was really old, he resembled this guy. However, he sounds a lot like Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, known here as Miracle Max.
Hey, go away. We're doing science.
Are you the Miracle Max who worked for the king all those years?
Honeydew opens up a small window and looks at the trio.
Yeah, the king's carried his son fired me. Didn't you hear? That's a very painful subject, though. Have a good day.
He shuts the window. Sweden uses Kermit's head to knock on the door. Honeydew opens the window again.
Beat it. I shall be forced to call the brute squad.
I'm on the brute squad.
Well, that certainly does put a damper on things.
We need a miracle. It's very important.
Honeydew opens the window again.
I'm retired and focusing instead on scientific pursuits and basics. Why would you want someone the king's what's that word, wife? Play
Saimata.
Thank you, voice. Son fired. I might kill whoever you wanted me to miracle.
Oh, well, that's no problem. He's already dead.
Oh, yes. Let me take a look at that.
Honeydew unlocks the door and lets them in. Interior hovel. Moments later, Gonzo and Sweetums hurry inside. Sweetums accidentally bashing Kermit's head on the door frame. Kermit is stiff as a board. Sweetums slumps Kermit off on his shoulder and onto a table where he sounds like clattering wood. Honeydew pokes Kermit's body.
Yeah, let's sniff that. I expected certainly a slimy though.
He studies Kermit for a moment, as if making up his mind.
Sir, we're in a terrible rush.
Don't rush me, Sonny. You hurry a miracle, man. You got rotten miracle. You got money?
Gonzo holds up a small handful of bills.
We got 65.
A bird flies through the window and grabs one of the bills.
45.
Never worked for so little ever. Well, there was the once, but it was for a noble cause, so...
Well, this is noble, sir.
Gonzo points to Kermit.
His show is in shambles. He's got an evil doppelganger with a mustache who's replaced him and is trying to destroy his life.
Wrong movie!
His wife is crippled. His children are on the brink of starvation.
You're a terrible liar.
I'm aware of this.
Honeydew starts to wrap Kermit up to throw them out.
I need him to avenge my creator murdered these 20 years.
And I like the first story better.
He looked around for a tool.
Where's the bellows?
Oh, boss!
Not that kind of bellows!
Oh, sorry.
Honeydew spots the bellows.
Hey, probably owes me you money. Mommy owes you money. I'll just ask him.
Remember the part where he's dead? He can't talk.
Honeydew puts the bellows into Kermit's mouth and begins pumping him with air.
Oh, look who knows so much. It just so happens there's different kinds of dead.
Kermit's chest is swelling like a balloon.
There's sort of dead, mostly dead, and all dead. Lucky for you, this fella here, he's mostly dead. Once they get to be all dead, there's only one thing you can do.
What's that?
Honeydew stops pumping.
I'll give you a hint. It's a popular in French cuisine.
Oh.
Gonzo realizes what he means and nods. Honeydew resumes pumping.
Hey! What's so important? What do you have here that's so worth coming back for?
He turns to Gonzo and Sweetums.
Sometimes it takes a little while, so for the bellows cram to work, so you know what I mean. They're the French.
Zombie!
No. See, you heard him. True love. You couldn't ask for a more noble cause than that.
I'm sorry, it's not what I heard. You see, true love is the best thing in the world, except for the scientific method. But he didn't say that. He very clearly said to live, which everyone knows means to bluff. So you guys were probably in a card game and he got caught bluffing and laughing.
Beaker, an ancient fairy, storm out of the back room and points an accusing finger at Honeydew.
Get back, witch! Don't say any more, Beaky!
Gonzo leans over and whispers to Sweetum.
You catching any of this?
Not a word.
Do you want me to turn on the subtitles?
Sure.
Huh.
Gonzo reaches over and flips a switch on a large device labeled subtitle generator. Gonzo and Sweetum look excitedly back at the conversation. Subtitle. Me.
Oh, now I get it.
Freedom still looks confused.
You said his name. You promised you would never say his name. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. Nobody's hearing anything. Stop saying Humperdinck.
Humperdinck? But don't you see, this is Butterpig's true love. If you bring him back to life, he'll ruin Humprundink's wedding.
He's come back for Humprundink's wedding? Suffers?
Humiliations galore!
Now that is a noble cause I can get behind. Give me the 45.
Another bird swoops through and grabs another one of the bills.
Give me the 30 before that dumb bird takes any more. I'm on the job.
Honeydew sits at a small desk.
Beaky, bring me my spell encyclopedia and the hex appendix. Oh, and my Tesla coil.
That's to interior hovel later. Honeydew sits in front of the large dusty books as Beaker drops another one in front of him with a puff of dust. Honeydew coughs and waves another dust cloud away.
Thank you, Beaky.
Sweden and Gonzo looks as expectedly.
Beaky, listen to these ingredients. What a recipe. Toad dust. Volcanic. Eel marrow.
Honeydew keeps reading as.
Coin marrow. Deutsch marrow. Italian marrow.
Grandpa, can't we skip on here? I'm not crazy about the recipes.
Are you sure you don't want the recipe? You might need to cheat death someday.
That's what Google's for.
What's a Google?
I just want to know if it works.
Resolved to interior hovel a little while later. Honeydew holds up a small lump, a little smaller than a tennis ball. Honeydew and Beaker look exhausted, looking at the lump with pride. Beaker brushes chocolate onto the lump. Honeydew puts the pill into a small platform and shocks it with electricity. Gonzo and Sweetum stare at it too, but more dubiously.
That's a miracle pill?
Yes.
But it looks like a kidney stone.
Me.
Yes. Yes. It should take 20 minutes for a full potency. Yeah.
To exterior hovel a little while later, Gonzo and Sweetum walk out of the hovel holding Kermit, who's now super stiff.
Thank you for everything.
Sweetum trips and drops Kermit, pops him back up and grabs Kermit.
We're good.
Have fun storming the castle.
Me.
Well, it would take a miracle. Yeah, miracle.
They didn't believe it'll work, but they keep raving happily. Cut to interior Humperdinck's room. Humperdinck stands in the wedding suit. Sam is with him.
Yellen has the 100 boots.
Waiting with him outside the main gate, sir. I brought 4 men with me. They're the only guards inside the castle.
Is there anything else? Because I got the boots of a Gilded Army officer, and I was going to track around in the mud after I've killed her. I hate to mess up the carpets, but it must be done.
Humperdinck holds up one of the boots. It is as big as his.
I'll say I saw them making their escape, and the brute prints will prove it, okay? It's not much of a case, but then the criminal justice system is this time period. It sucks anyway. Besides, no one ever questions you when you're the one who runs the country. We should be at war by morning if Henson is on our side.
Cuts to exterior the outer castle walls later. Gonzo, Sweetum, and Kermit corpse sit on the outer wall of the castle. They look down at the front walls of the castle. All they see is a sea of brutes. Gonzo's mouth drop opens. Dumbstruck, upset, he turns to Sweetum, who is attempting to count them one by one. Gonzo tries unsuccessfully to prop Kermit up against the wall, but Kermit clatters to his face more than a few times.
Bingo, there's more than 30.
I might have noticed that.
Gonzo gestures to Kermit, who is lying right on his face.
But we've got him. Help me here. Yeah, we'll have to force feed him.
Sweetum pulls out a large sundial.
Has it been 20 minutes?
He can't wait. The wedding's in half an hour, and we must strike in the hustle and bustle beforehand. Besides, it would be rude to interfere before the priest asks if anyone objects.
Sweden, using all his strength, lifts Kermit into a right-angled sitting position, while Gonzo brings out a miracle pill.
Open his mouth and tilt his head back.
How long do you think we'll have to wait before we know if the miracle worked or not?
Sweden steps on Kermit's foot and his mouth pops open, like a trash can lid. Gonzo tosses it into Kermit's mouth.
Well, your guess is as good as...
I'll beat you together.
Well, I guess not that long.
Here's a zombie!
Gonzo and Sweden hug, thrilled. Kermit is the only one amazed. He struggles for a beat, not moving.
Why won't my arms move?
Kermit sits there like an unused puppet.
You've been mostly dead all day.
We had Miracle Max make a pill to bring you back.
I can't move my legs either.
That'll come along soon. Just don't try to overdo it.
Kermit struggles and flops over on his face again. Sweetums props him back up.
Why am I on this wall? Who are you both? Are we enemies? Where's Butterpig?
Let me explain.
Gonzo takes a deep breath, like but pauses, doesn't know where the best to begin.
You know what? No, there's too much. Then let me sum it up instead.
Makes another deep breath.
Butterpig is marrying Humperdinck in a little less than half an hour. So all we have to do is get in, break up the wedding, steal the princess, and make our escape after I kill Count Rugen!
So we don't have much time for dilly-dallying.
My toes are wiggling.
Hey, you just wiggled your toes. It's wonderful.
Quit staring at my feet turns, you know? I've always been a quick healer.
Kermit turns to Gonzo.
What are our liabilities?
There's but one working castle gate, and it's being guarded by 100 men.
And our assets?
Your brains, physics strength, my steel, and this bag of marbles, and a lot of felt.
Gonzo gestures to a pile of felt all stacked around them. Kermit looks stunned.
That's all? That's the grand total? I mean, that's impossible. If I had a month to plan, maybe I might come up with something, but this?
Kermit shakes his head from side to side.
You shook your head. Doesn't that pick up your spirits?
My brains, your strength, and his steel against 100 men. You think a little hand jiggle is going to do anything?
Kermit a beat to calm himself down.
Can you imagine what it's like for me sitting there wiggling my toes while my true love marries my murderer? It's not even like we have a wheelbarrow or anything. We have nothing.
Do we still have the wheelbarrow the albino had?
I think we left it on top of the albino.
Here, give us a second.
Gets you into the pit of despair. Gonzo and Sweden stand over Waldorf, who's hiding underneath a wheelbarrow.
Hey guys.
Can we have that?
Sure.
Great!
Exterior, the outer castle walls, minutes later. Sweden holds the wheelbarrow over his head.
We got a wheelbarrow.
Why did you list it among our assets in the first place?
Because we didn't have it then.
Fair point.
Kermit slowly starts to stand.
What I wouldn't give for a Holocaust cloak.
There, we can't help you.
I mean, will this do?
Sweden pulls out a large cloak from his satchel.
Where did...
While you were after the Ilmaro, Max gave me this to help with volcanic mud. Fit me so nicely, he said I could keep it.
Kermit toddles very slowly along the wall.
All right, come on. Oh, I'm going to need a sword eventually.
Why? You can't even lift one.
Well, yeah, but that's not common knowledge.
Kermit takes a step and toddles right over, rolling up and over onto his head. Sweetums helps him back up, setting him straight again.
Thank you. Now, there may be some problems once we're inside.
You're not just whistling Dixie.
I'm not whistling at all.
How do I find the Count? Because once I do, how do I find you again? And once I find you again, how do we escape? What's the answer to the life, universe, and everything?
42. Now don't pester him. He's had a hard day.
Oh, right. Right, sorry.
Cuts to exterior the outer castle walls later. They've been working for a little bit, They look up at their work.
Inigo,
What?
I hope we win.
Me too.
I just hope you don't die.
Well, yeah, that too.
That's the interior Miss Piggy's room. Miss Piggy stands in her bridal gown, looking incredible, while her dress looks amazing. She also seems at peace with her fate. Humperdinck stands at her chamber door, Sam and 4 guards standing behind her.
You don't seem excited, my brown muffin.
Should I be?
I would hope so, my love. It's your wedding day, okay? Right off the nod, I'm told.
I'm not getting married tonight.
Miss Piggy looks at him. She couldn't be more serene.
My Wesley will save me.
Cut to the outer castle walls. Kermit walks with a little more stability now. Hiding in the darkness, Gonzo moves alongside him. Sweden brings up the rear, dragging a wheelbarrow. They look ahead at the main gates of the castle, and Scooter stands in defense, flanked by the 100 brutes. Kermit, Gonzo, and Sweden look at the enemy. This is it. Gonzo and Sweden shake hands. Kermit can't even do that, so he just flops his arm onto their shake. They then silently start to get the wheelbarrow onto proper position. Cut to interior, beautiful gem-like little chapel. In front of a brilliant stained glass window stands the most impressive appearing clergyman imaginable, but for our purposes, we'll refer to him as the Swedish chef. Miss Piggy and Humperdinck kneel before the clergyman. Behind them sit a mumbling old king and queen. Standing at the back of the hall is Sam, flanked by guards. Both of the Statler watch from the balcony overhead. From just outside the castle, a commotion begins. Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped. Miss Piggy and Humperdinck exchange a look. What the hell did he just say? From just outside the castle, a commotion begins.
What's that? What happened to my voice? I'm sorry. Statler, did you die?
I don't know, but if it gets this movie done faster, I'm all for it.
For if you think if your eternity is your fear, your favor.
Humperdinck looks back and gives a sharp nod to Sam, who salutes and immediately takes off out of the chapel with the 4 guards closest to him. Cut to exterior of the castle walls. The brutes and Scooter stand by the gate, screaming in panic and fear. They bustle around, because coming towards them is the most unnerving sight. A giant seems to be floating towards them out of the darkness. A giant with a strange cloak, with a voice that would crumble walls, and a face that looked an awful lot like a gigantic Muppet. Oh, Jim Henson.
I'm the Dread Pirate Henson, and there'll be no survivors.
The brutes and Scooter panic a little more now. One of the brutes grabs his friend and throws him over the wall to safety. The giant floats closer.
My men are here, and I am here, but soon you will not be here.
Scooter, trying his best and failing to keep the brutes in position, shouts instructions, but he is trampled once, twice, and thrice. Sweetums is pushing the wheelbarrow along with Gonzo, who's trying his best to stuff his laughter. Kermit walks calmly alongside, doing his best to simply stay upright.
Now?
Wait,
Now?
no,
How about now?
not yet.
Now?
Let him.
The brutes scream in terror as the gigantic Henson goes up in flames.
The Dread Pirate Henson takes no survivors. Never survivors. All your worst nightmares are about to come true. The Dread Pirate Henson is here for your soul.
Scooter is getting hazy from all the trampling. The throwing brute grabs him and finds him up for a throw.
No, wait!
The brute throws Scooter towards one of the high windows of the castle. He misses and Scooter simply slams into the wall, denting the stone. Cut to interior beautiful gem-like little chapel.
Let's get to the end, okay?
As Humperdinck whips out the ring, the scream from outside gets even louder.
I told you. Here comes my Wesley now. He's going to turn you into shrimp scampi.
Humperdinck shoves a ring onto her finger.
Wesley's dead.
Miss Piggy shakes her head in disbelief.
I killed him myself.
Getting kind of dark in here, isn't it?
What was that?
Nothing. Tell me, Prince Shrimp. If you killed him, then why is there fear in your eyes?
Humperdinck's eyes are little skulls. He's terrified. Cut to interior castle. Sam and the guards sprint down the hallway. To exterior castle grounds. Scooter sits up and is met with of Gonzo's sword. Sweden crosses his arms, looking tough, which is easy with burning giant Henson behind him. Kermit stares at Scooter.
Hand me your sword.
Gonzo takes Scooter's sword and hands it to Kermit. Kermit aims his new sword at Scooter.
Get us the gate key.
Gate key! I knew we were forgetting about something.
I have no gate key. May my uncle sizzle forever in hell if I'm lying.
Alrighty then, tear off his arms, Fezzik.
Sweden steps forward. Scooter folds quickly.
Ooh, you mean this gate key?
Scooter pulls the key from around his neck and hands it to Sweetums. Scooter runs like hell into the woods. Sweetum puts the key in the lock at the gate. Great gate opens. Gonzo and Kermit hurries inside. As to interior beautiful gem-like little chapel. Humperdinck looks nervously to the clergyman.
Man and wife. Say man and wife.
Humperdinck whirls to the king and queen.
Let's go with my bride to the honeymoon suite, okay? I'll be there shortly.
Humperdinck dashes off, leaving Miss Piggy in a daze.
Wesley didn't come. He said he would come. He said he always would. If he's not dead, I'm going to kill him.
Cut to interior of the castle. Sam and his warriors race through the castle until they reach a complex intersection. Sam stops. Curious, he looks down one of the hallways and sees Gonzo, Sweetum, and Kermit moving towards him. Kermit moves very slowly, using Scooter's sword like a walking stick. He simply doesn't have the strength to lift it. Sam looks to the warriors.
Kill the whatever and the giant. Save the third one for questioning.
Gonzo's eyes narrow as the warriors approach.
Die!
Gonzo charges the warriors. His six-fingered sword has never been faster. He swipes, slashes, and stabs, taking down all four warriors before the first one even hits the floor. There is a pause. Then he looks up at Sam.
Hello. My name is Inigo Gonzo. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Sam stands there for a moment, sword in hand. Then he does an unexpected thing. Well, unexpected if you haven't seen the movie. He turns and runs. Gonzo's surprised, but then takes off after him. Kermit has never stopped his slow walk. He is a frog on a mission. Sweetums is with him as they head down the corridors. Sam slams into a heavy wooden door and locks it just as Gonzo slams into it.
Fezzik! I need you!
Sweetum hears this and shouts back.
I can't leave him alone.
Gonzo desperately slams himself into the heavy door.
But he's getting away, Fezzik! Please!
I'll be right back.
And Sweetum takes off towards the sound of Gonzo screaming. Kermit keeps dragging his sword along, but now he's alone. He keeps moving, only one thing on his mind. Kermit comes to a T-junction and goes left, never breaking pace. Cut to interior castle corridors, same time. Miss Piggy walks with King Spam and Queen Hilda, a little more sprightly, and a few paces ahead.
A strange marriage ceremony. Never seen anyone like to pay for.
Miss Piggy gently kisses him on the forehead. He's very surprised and pleased.
Oh, what is that for?
Because you've always been so kind to me, even back on Treasure Island. And I won't be seeing you again since I'm killing myself and then Wesley once we reach the honeymoon suite.
The king smiles. Who knows how much of that got through to him?
Isn't that nice? You kiss me, dear.
The interior castle corridors elsewhere. Sweden lights the backside of a massive cannon with Gonzo jammed in the front.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you coming to help me out with.
Launching Gonzo straight through the door. Gonzo can be heard something on the other end of the door.
Thank you.
Happy to.
Sweden brushes himself off and heads back to where he left Kermit, but Kermit isn't there. Sweden stands at a T-junction.
All your life, been doing things wrong. Not this time.
Sweden goes left. A beat later, he goes back to the right. That's the interior castle corridors. Sam runs, dashing through the dining room. He glances back and sees Gonzo sprinting into the room. As Sam ducks into the next room, he pulls out a deadly-looking dagger and hides it in his hand as he runs. That's the interior honeymoon suite. Miss Piggy is led to the room by the king and queen. Miss Piggy walks inside as they toddle off.
Could she decide that she was going to kill herself?
You and your hearing.
Interior the honeymoon suite. Miss Piggy shuts the door, crossing quietly to the far wall. She pulls a large hunting machete off the wall. She sits at the desk and places the blade to her chest.
There's a shortage of perfect pigs in the world. It'd be a shame to lose you.
Miss Piggy whips around to see Kermit lying on the bed, Scooter's sword beside him. His voice sounds strong, but he doesn't move. Cut to interior castle corridors. Gonzo stands in the hall. Sam lets out his dagger, fly, and Gonzo dodges out of the way in pure time. The dagger bounces off the wall behind him and ricochets into Gonzo's back. Ooh.
Ouch!
Gonzo falls to his knees. Sam looks at him with venom in his eyes.
I'm sorry, Father. I tried.
Sam looks at Gonzo. He stares at him a beat, then touches his own cheek as memory comes.
You must be that little whatever brat I taught a lesson to all those years ago. It's simply incredible. Do you still have that shirt?
Gonzo pulls open his shirt, flashing his loser shirt.
You do? Have you been chasing me your whole life only to fail now? I think that's the sorriest thing I've ever heard. How wonderful. You truly deserve that shirt.
Forgive me, Father. Say you forgive me. Please.
Sam swaggers up to Gonzo, watching Gonzo suffer.
I wish I had my notebooks. I would do a charcoal drawing of your pain right now if I could. Tell me, the mental or the physical, which pain is the worst?
Cuts to interior the honeymoon suite. Kermit lies helpless on the bed as Miss Piggy showers him with kisses.
Why don't you hold me, Wesley, my love?
Gently.
At a time like this, that's all you can think to say, gently?
Well, you're nearly on my chest.
That's what you get for leaving me behind.
Cuts to interior castle corridors. Sam looks very surprised at Gonzo.
Good heavens, are you still trying to win?
Gonzo's spinning in a circle, trying and failing to pull the dagger from his back. Sam moves in for the kill.
You've got an overdeveloped sense of vengeance, and it's going to get you in trouble someday.
Gonzo watches Ego approach. Sam goes and stabs Gonzo in the chest. Gonzo deflects the sword, a truly vague parry, setting the sword into the arm instead. Sam goes for another stab. This one also parried by Gonzo, taking this new stab to the other shoulder. Sam goes for another strike, but Gonzo managed to parry this one without getting stabbed himself. Sam keeps going for death blows, and Gonzo keeps stabbing them away. Gonzo rises, slowly pushing away from the wall.
Hello. My name is Inigo Gonzo. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Sam strikes wildly, pushing Gonzo back to the wall, but none of his blows can get past Gonzo's fence. Gonzo pushes off the wall again.
Hello. My name is Inigo Gonzo. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Sam attacks again, slashing with wondrous skill. None of his blows get through, and Gonzo starts slowly pushing forward.
Hello! My name is Inigo Gonzo. You killed my father! Prepare to die!
Stop saying that.
Sam retreats around the table. Gonzo jumps up onto the table, dancing the dodge blow that Sam now throws. Gonzo raises his sword on Sam's left to draw his attention. Sam looks left. Gonzo slashes and knocks the sword from Sam's hand.
Hello! My name is Inigo Gonzo. You killed my father! Prepare to die!
No.
Offer me money!
The six-finger sword slashes, cutting the clothes from Sam's frame.
Yes.
Power 2! Promise me that!
The sword flashes again.
All I have and more. Please.
Offer me spin-off and all merchandising rights!
Yes. Say it. Just tell me what you want.
Gonzo turns to the audience for a beat.
Plug those ears, kids.
He turns back to Sam.
I want my father back, you son of a bitch!
And on that, Gonzo's sword flashes a few quick slashes.
Oh.
Now as Gonzo steps back, observing his work, Sam's chest now reads, loser. Gonzo smiles and cuts a quick G underneath, signing his work. Sam looks at his chest, then at Gonzo.
Ouch.
Sam falls back, dead. And Gonzo does something he hasn't done in years. He smiles. Cuts to interior honeymoon suite. Kermit lies as still as before, still with Scooter's sword at his side. His piggy eyes never leave his face.
I cannot believe you made me doubt you. You're a bad frog. Oh, Wesley, will you ever forgive me?
Well, you forgave me for dating Denise. What hideous sin have you committed recently?
I got married. I didn't want to. It all happened so fast.
It didn't happen.
What?
It never happened.
But it did. I'm not just wearing this dress for style.
Aren't you?
Well, I mean, yes, but I was there. This old man said man and wife. Well, it sounded kind of like man and wife, whatever.
Did you say I do?
Well, come to think of it, no. We sort of skipped over that part. It was all so sudden, but...
Then you're not married. You didn't say it, you didn't do it. Don't you agree, Prince?
Comforting enters the room, staring at them, his boots muddy. He stares at them in a bit of a shock.
I don't think I'm ready for this kind of thing on my wedding night. 3 people is a lot. And while I am quite a lover, I prefer to keep it one-on-one type of thing, okay?
What? No.
I mean, I've thought about it. Sure. Had some wild dreams.
Kermit looks at her without turning his head. Humperdinck rushes in the room and draws a large sword off from the wall.
Never mind that. It's a technicality that will shortly be remedied, okay? But first things first. To the death.
No.
No? What did you mean? No.
To the pain.
I don't think I know that one.
Pepe pulls out a book of idiom and starts stumbling through it.
I don't think you'll find it in there. I'd be happy to explain it to you.
That would be lovely, okay?
And I'll be sure to use small words so you can understand, you warthog-faced shrimp.
That may be the first time in my life a frog has dared to insult me. And I'm a prawn! Can someone get that right?
Kermit lies there comfortably, his words quiet and slowly building in confidence.
It won't be the last. The pain means the first thing you'll lose will be your feet, below the ankles, then your hands, the wrist. Next, your nose. No more stopping to smell the roses for you.
Humperdinck grips his sword tighter.
Next would be my tongue, I suppose. I think I killed you too quickly last time. A mistake I won't make again.
I wasn't finished. Next will be your left eye, then your right.
And then my ears and my antenna. Yes, I understand. Let's get on with it, okay?
Wrong. Your ears you keep, and I'll tell you why.
Humperdinck's eyes are skulls once again. The fear is back.
So that every shriek of every child at seeing your hideous will be yours to cherish. So every babe that weeps at your approach, every woman who cries out, "Dear God, what is that thing?" will echo in your perfect ears.
Not the babes.
That is what to the pain means. It means I will leave you in anguish, wallowing in freakish misery forever.
Humperdinck tries his best to hide his fear, although it's building by the minute.
I think I'm laughing, okay?
Kermit simply stares at him.
It's possible, Shrimp. I might be bluffing. It's conceivable. You miserable, vomitous mess.
Okay, can we go to this with the name calling, please, okay?
It's conceivable that I'm only lying here because I lack the strength to stand. But again, perhaps I have the strength after all.
And now Kermit begins to move. He stands slowly and Humperdinck's eyes go wide. Kermit stands upright, aiming his sword at Humperdinck's, ready for a fight.
Now drop your sword.
Humperdinck doesn't know whether to pee himself or run away. He drops the sword.
Time to a chair.
I've got a better idea.
Miss Piggy walks up calmly to Humperdinck.
I just have one thing to say to you.
What is that, okay?
Hi!
Chops Humperdinck and sends him flying. As he soars through the air, Kermit teeters in the background. Interior castle corridors. Gonzo walks the halls, in a happy daze, singing to himself. He walks past the honeymoon suite.
Well, are you done?
Almost. Hi-ya!
Furniture clatter. Interior the honeymoon suite. Gonzo pushes open the door and sees them.
Where's Fezzik?
Isn't he with you?
When we were trapped, he's got the gate key.
Let's find someplace to make a stand.
Help him.
Why does Wesley need help?
Because he has no strength.
Humperdinck looks up from the wreckage of the bookcase he's lying underneath.
Ugh, I was right. He was bluffing. I knew at all times.
Shall I dispatch him?
Or me?
Thank you, but no. Whatever happens to us, I want to live a long life without cowardice.
That's not nice, okay?
Neither are you.
Oh, Nico, help me, please. I'm all confused and miserable. I need to see a friendly face.
They all share a look, then cross to the balcony. They look down to see Sweetums, forlorn leading 4 great white horses. He glances up and sees them.
3 friendly faces? I've been so lost, Inigo. I stumbled at Prince's stables and he had these horses and I thought they were so pretty. I figured if we ever found Lady, hi, Lady. I brought them in case we ran into each other again. And I guess we just did.
Fezzik, you did something right!
Don't worry. I won't let it go to my head.
Sweetum holds out his arms. Miss Piggy throws herself off the balcony. She lands softly in Sweetum's arms. They smell each other.
Don't get any ideas, mister. This pig is spoken for.
Of course.
Kermit and Gonzo stand on the balcony.
You know, it's strange. I've been in the revenge business for so long. Now that it's over, I don't know what to do with the rest of my life.
Have you ever considered piracy? You'd make a wonderful direct pirate Henson.
I have always wanted to sail to Zanzibar to meet the Zanzibarbarians.
That's to exterior field. The horses ride trembling into the night. Kermit and Miss Piggy reach the end of the trail and stop.
They rode to their ride to freedom. And as dawn arose, Wesley and Butterpig knew they were safe. A wave of love swept over them, and as they reached for each other,
They move towards each other and freeze frame. Interior Robin's room.
And what? And what?
it's kissing again. You don't want to hear it.
I don't mind so much.
Oh, all right. Since the invention of the kiss, there have been 5 great kisses that were rated the most passionate, the most pure.
Clearfield.
Give me some sugar, baby.
Oh, Wesley.
Kermit and Miss Piggy kiss a deep, passionate kiss.
This one left them all behind. The end.
Interior Robin's room. The grandfather closes the book and sets it down on Robin's nightstand.
Now, I think you ought to go to sleep.
Okay.
Take care of yourself. You listen to your mother and do what she says.
I will.
All right. So long.
Robin is already drifting off to sleep.
Grandpa?
He stops and
Yeah.
turns.
maybe you could come over and read it again to me tomorrow.
As you wish.
The grandfather looked to the audience and winks. The grandfather takes a bow before turning off the light and closing the door. Waldman looks at the book on his bedside table. The title reads, As You Wish, Inconceivable Tales from the Making of the Princess Bride by Carrie. Waldman sighs happily and rolls over, drifting off to sleep. The end.
Oh, thank you all so much for joining for this one. It means the world. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the next one.